All right. Getting started here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Day 57 of your war in Ukraine update. I'm your host, Andrew Mercado. Sit back, like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back here right after the intro. Stay tuned. All right, everybody. Are we good now? Let me know if you guys still hear echo in the chat. You guys had said you had heard echo. Comment where you're tuning in from. Anyways, I'm your host, Andrew Mercado. And again, let me know if you guys are hearing echo. Day 57. Day 57 here. Amid nuclear threats, Putin issued a warning as he announced the first test launch of its new nuclear-capable Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM system on Wednesday, April 20th. And again, it's important to point out that the United States and its intelligence was aware of this happening. It wasn't a shock, and people are assuming that it's a part of the war or connected to the war. You know, they're propagandizing it, but it's on their start ICBM missile launch schedule that they have. So it didn't surprise the United States. It wasn't surprising to any Western powers. That has to do with Russia's nuclear or ICBM tests that we'll be going over here in the videos. Russia is up to 85 battalion tactical groups in Ukraine, adding another 3 in the last 24 hours, most in the Donbas. Senior U.S. defense official claims... Oh, no monitor. Thank you, guys. Or no echo. Thank you. Russia is up to 85 battalion tactical groups in Ukraine after adding another 3 in the last 24 hours, most in the Donbas. Senior U.S. U.S. officials believe that Russia had 120 battle tactical groups amassed on Ukraine's border before the invasion. President Vladimir Putin claimed victory in the biggest battle of the Ukraine war during the port of Mariupol, quote, liberated after nearly 2 months of siege despite hundreds of defenders still holding out against inside a giant steelwork. Ukraine has more tanks available in country than Russia thanks to European deliveries of Soviet-era T-72 tanks, senior defense official. U.S. has no tanks to give Ukraine because Ukrainian military is using Soviet-era equipment. Pentagon develops drone system for Ukraine. The Phoenix Ghost drone system was developed to meet Ukrainian needs with the minimal amount of training needed for Ukrainian forces, Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby said. The new U.S. military aid package includes 121 such systems. Russian lawmaker proposes to force Ukrainian POWs to donate blood to injured Russian soldiers. Sergei Leonov proposed the move while speaking with reporters on April 21st. Governor, Russian rockets hit railway in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Valentin Retschenko said it wasn't clear whether it would be possible to resume railway traffic after three missile strikes hit and completely destroyed the railway network in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Ukrainian advisors are learning American howitzer artillery quickly and are very happy with the system, according to the Pentagon. A U.S. senior defense official said yesterday that 50 Ukrainian military advisors had begun training on howitzers at a remote location. Biden announces another additional $800 million in military aid to Ukraine. The U.S. president said on April 21st that it sent a message to Putin. Quote, he will never succeed in dominating and occupying all of Ukraine, unquote. Biden also announced a ban for Russian ships to enter U.S. ports. U.S. President Joe Biden and Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal met in Washington, D.C. on April 21st. Biden wrote that the meeting was, quote, to convey our continued commitment to support Ukraine in the face of Russia's brutal war of aggression, end quote. U.S. believes that Russia has put Wagner Group mercenaries in eastern Ukraine and also aggressively recruited foreign fighters for the war, according to the Pentagon. Quote, it is a statement of need, according to Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby, as Russia has taken hits to its battle tactical groups. The Supreme Court rules 8-1 that the government does not violate the Equal Protection Clause by excluding Puerto Rico residents from supplemental security income, a safety net program for people who are blind, disabled, or at least 65. Sonia Sotomayor is the lone dissent. It is the first detailed plan to slow the rise in drug overdose deaths. The Biden administration is emphasizing harm reduction. That means increasing access to clean needles, fentanyl test strips, and naloxone. I don't know why. Words are tough for me tonight, chat. Naloxone. I should have known that. Clean needles helps reduce the spread of disease. Fentanyl test strips enable drug users to check if they are about to consume this powerful opioid that they can shut down breathing in seconds. Naloxone is a drug that can rapidly reverse an opioid overdose. So we'll be talking more about that, and during Recovery Month, I do interviews during that month, and we learn more and expand upon our own understanding of recovery. I'm in recovery myself. I'm over 3 years clean from my drug of choice, so you guys can see that recovery does work. I mean, I'm a living, breathing example of it. What you put in is what you get out of it. But it is possible, and I obviously am a proponent of harm reduction, so this is something that I would support. The Biden administration Thursday appealed the court's decision on masks mandates at the request of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which said it, quotes, remains necessary for the public health. USA Today. So there you guys go. That's the rundown of the top news stories from the day, including just around the world. Let's hop into the war in Ukraine. Like the video if you guys haven't. Again, are we having lag issues? I hope not. Let me know. Is the video quality good? You guys can see everything, hear everything well? Was it frozen for a second? Should be good. Are we all right? Can you guys see and hear well? It's being a little laggy today. You know, someone who just lost a grandchild. I'm doing good. Thank you so much, guys. Just let me know how the video is. Prescott Valley, Arizona. Good to have you. You're 11 years clean and sober. Awesome. Brooksville, Alberta. Welcome. It's all good now? Okay, good. All right. All right, we can get started then. 4 years clean on the 24th. Awesome. Perfect. Good quality. Awesome. All right, all right, all right. I just had a temporary hiccup then. New setup, you know what I mean? You got to get the kinks out of it. Any issues with it. But let's look at our war map now. Thank you, chat. Awesome. My video is a little delayed too. A little bit of a delay. YouTube must just be having a crabby night. Here's our war map though. If you guys haven't seen it, how are you doing, Albany, Georgia? Good to see you. Here's Mariupol down here to the southeast. The Azovstal steel plant. Let's check this update. Heavy shelling at the Azovstal plant. Also clashes reported at the tram depot area in Mariupol. This was 12 hours ago. You're at 8.5 years. Congratulations. All right. Thank you guys for sticking with it. Let's translate this. Right now, there is a bombardment and shelling of the territory of Azovstal. At the same time, fighting is taking place in the area of the tram depot located at a considerable distance from the territory of Azovstal. That's from the advisor to the mayor of Mariupol, Andriy Kachenko. New York. Yes, you got kicked off. All right, thank you guys for coming back. Thank you guys for coming on back. Let's continue. Let's look at our map a little more. What's this update here? Mariupol. Russian tank with the V marking was destroyed in Mariupol by the Azov regiment. We got a video here. Yep. Let's translate this. Defenders of Mariupol found enemy equipment in the city, including Russian tanks marked V. This means that the occupying forces that committed atrocities in Bucha were transferred to the city. They killed, raped, and tortured civilians. Now the Putin horde continues to destroy the city. All right. Take the coverage from Houston. Thank you. So that's from the Azov battalion outside of the steel factory in Mariupol. Thank you, thank you. I might just be a night to have to reset my internet too. Sometimes it gets clogged. We haven't had a clogged night of internet in a while. Good thing I'm not trying to multi-stream anymore. Let's check the latest in our video clips. Again, information isn't coming out as fast as much as it was. Abundance of information slowed down since the start. We're on nearly day 60 of the war. We're reaching day 60. All right, here's our first clip from today we haven't seen. 2 Russian helicopters, a Ka-52 and an Mi-8. We were destroyed. Okay, actually, I do remember seeing this one. Let's see it again. I saw this amongst our clips from yesterday.
Харитона це в'їбали, я не поняв. Ото Іванець тут другу в'їбав. Отака хуйня, братух. Харитона це в'їбали, я не поняв.
I think we actually saw the video of these two being shot down. This is just the aftermath of those. You guys can see the smoke in the background. Ka-52 and an Mi-8. Thank you, Rose. Thank you. Let's continue on. Clip Zaporizhia, Russian Ka-52 shot down. Zaporizhia. Look at our map here. Here it is, right? Melitopol. You guys can see Mariupol, Zaporizhia, south of Dnipro. All right, right here. Here's Mykolaiv, Kherson, Melitopol, Mariupol. Here's here's Crimea. All right, just so you get your bearings. Zaporizhia. It's one of the river port cities. They have a big plant there. Very crucial city. Very, very strategically crucial city. That was a direct hit. You guys see, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of blurry potato quality, but right here is the Ka-52. right? And then you can see the missile connect with it, but this is the object. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Let's continue on. What do we got? So just touching on some any other news. Disney's, they revoked Disney's special tax status. So some Florida back and forth with Disney going on in the state of Florida in the United States. Supreme Court rules 8-1 that the government does not violate equal protection clause by excluding Puerto Rico residents from supplemental security income. Does not violate the equal protection clause. A safety net program for people who are blind, disabled, at least 65. You guys think that Puerto Rico should be a part of the United States by now? Maybe that should be our first poll, just looking at some outside news. Hold on, let me finish. I'm going to post this to our members of the channel. They get an extra notification. We are live. What do you guys think? Yeah, we're not really I don't cover celebrity shit, really. We can talk about, we can do stuff with that case if you guys are interested, I suppose. The Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial. I am personally not interested in celebrity stuff, but we've covered a few trials before. We're kind of late to that one though, chat. Not gonna lie. All right, poll coming up. I got the notification went out. Oops. Oh, that didn't go out to members. Hold on. Notification's going out now. All right. And there we go. All right, you should be getting another notification if you're a member, but that'll help get more people on in. All right, poll coming up. Do you feel Puerto Rico should, like, what would they be, like a 51st state? Should be all right, here we go. I'm gonna see your guys' opinion here. I'm gonna put I don't know as well as one of the answers. Yes, no. Unsure. There we go. All right. Let's continue on. A Russian tank turret crashed in an apartment in Mariupol, Canadian-Ukrainian volunteer.
Моя подруга пошла смотреть на свою квартиру, которой нету.
Вот это она?
А?
Вот это квартира, да?
Нет, это 5-й этаж. Его вообще нету. Ни плиты, ничего. Это просто...
По-моему, не понял.
Моя подруга пошла смотреть на свою квартиру, которой нету.
Вот это она?
А?
Вот это квартира, да?
Нет, это 5-й этаж. Его вообще нету. Ни плиты, ничего.
All right, continuing on. Video, Russian direct fire MLRS, multiple launch rocket system, strikes in the Ilich plant in Mariupol. More footage from Mariupol. Yeah, that was direct fire. That was direct shot from the multiple launch rocket system. 1, 2, 3. It was about the fourth story. They hit the fourth floor with it. Went right through the building. That's what. Yeah. So that truck is shooting straight at the building with those rockets. All right, that's in Mariupol. Continuing on, this was 31. Well, this was just circulating towards the end of the day. Russian in the Dmitry chemical plant in the city of Kanishma is on fire. So where is this? This is in Russia, I believe. Pull this up here. In the Ivanovo Oblast. Where is this? To the northeast of Moscow. That's quite a distance. There is a chemical plant, the Dmitrevsky chemical plant in the city of Kanishma. It is the largest Russian manufacturer of chemical solvents. That's not good. Unless I'm looking at the wrong Kanishma, 950 kilometers. Is there a different one that I'm not looking at? Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, that's it. That's quite a distance though from Ukraine. It's on the other side of Moscow. They put 950 kilometers on there from Ukraine, but I mean it's quite a distance. Look at the map. Here's Ukraine. Here's Kharkiv. So we got a $5 super chat. Gatto love. We the people are ruled now in Puerto Rico by big backs, Wall Street, and elites. Are you in Puerto Rico, Gatto love? So that's a distance from Ukraine. Here's the video. Let's see if there's any further updates on this. But it isn't Dmitry chemical plant. Let's see what the news is on this. News 6 hours ago. Daily Mail, The Mirror. No, hasn't really even been all. Huge blaze sweep. The Daily Mail picked it up. Not being reported anywhere else. Let's see what Daily Mail said then. Huge blaze sweeps through Russia's biggest chemical plant on the same day 7 people are killed in fire at weapon research facility. Blaze broke out at Russia's largest chemical plant just hours after a huge fire at a military facility killed 7 people. Huge plumes of smoke were seen enveloping the Dmitry chemical plant late this afternoon. The cause of the fire remains unknown. Almost 150 plant workers were reportedly evacuated. The facility in Kanishma, east of Moscow, produces more industrial solvents than any other in Russia. It is less than 1,000 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. But, yeah, that's still a distance, though. Look how far it is. On the other side of Moscow. That's up there. Anti-Putin race car driver Igor Shushenko tweeted footage of the latest fire and wrote, "This is the largest Russian manufacturer of chemical solvents, located 250 miles east of Moscow. We are beginning to see a pattern develop." What does that mean? The mystery blaze follows a deadly fire around lunchtime at a top-secret Ministry of Defense research facility in Tver, west of the Russian capital. So there was a fire at a top-secret Russian weapons base, and then there's a fire at industrial solvents facility in Russia. So there's two events on one day. Alright. Oops. Sorry about that. No. Advertisements everywhere. And then here's the fire breaks out of a top secret Russian weapons space.
Да нет, как-то они оттуда. Значит, там дымище. Сейчас приеду. Еще это кидать, снять. Видите? Вот, слышите, уже пожарные едут.
Деревянный перекрытие.
Конечно, нет, уже погибшие есть. Моему мужу сказали. Он у меня работает в этом институте.
Not so secret now, huh? That's just such. Where was this fire located now? In Tver? How do you Tver? Where is this? So this is to the east of Moscow. That's a distance from Ukraine. This is in Tver. Not as far, but like that's to the north, little northwest of Moscow. It's the red dot, or the red marker. That's still a distance from Ukraine. Seven were killed and 25 were injured after the mysterious fire caused the roof to fall in. 4 military scientists were forced to jump out of windows before the burning institute in Tver, which develops new space and weapon systems. They develop new space and weapon systems there? In this? That looks like some old army barracks. You're late this evening. Oh, you're alright. This gets posted afterwards, so if you missed anything. If you missed anything. right, so okay.
I have to read you a tweet.
Oh God, save us! Stop it! Stop it! Major fire erupts at top. So there's more video from that. Or is this the same? That's gonna be the same video. Just showed an ad. Here's a picture. Scientists are spotted jumping out of windows before the burning research institute. This website is just terrible. Daily Mail, just full of just garbage all over it on the sides. This cause of the first fire remains unclear, but there were reports of poisonous bluish black smoke. So the poll is about, do you guys feel this was self-inflicted by Russia? I mean, there isn't Daily Mail, I'd say it'd be the biggest source that is reporting on this in terms of like a corporate or bigger news, I'd say. Now let's go back. Daily Express, The Mirror, Daily Record, DC News. I don't even trust these websites. What do you guys think? Vote in the chat. We're at 35%. No. Do you believe the fires at the buildings within Russia are legitimate? So those are the chemical plant and then the top secret weapons facility. A weapons disposal facility. At the Fox Archipelago. We need to play Metal Gear Solid soon. We're at 36% no right now in our poll. It's not even picked up. Like usually if there's something big in Russia, like it at least is picked up by something. Set by Russia government. All right, let's start hopping into Rob Lee's combat footage of the day. All right, that was just our timeline of things that our social media managers, shout out to our managers as well as our moderators that shared for the rundown from Mercado Media. Now let's get into Rob Lee. Video of Ukraine's 54th Mechanized Brigade showing artillery strikes on a Russian armored column near Marinka. The video shows 6 damaged or abandoned T-72B3 tanks, most with roof screens, so they got cope cages on them. WizKid, Andrew, you are the GOAT. Let no one say otherwise. Slava Ukraine. Thank you so much, WizKid. Legitimate in terms of, like, did Russia do that themselves? Or is it junk? Do you believe it or not? We've seen plenty of evidence of Russia false flagging all over the place, including their combat footage. Here we go. All right, music down. I get copyright. That's why the poll says, do you believe? It's not like, do you, without beyond reasonable doubt of all facts and evidence. Like, no, it's like your belief. I'm asking you. Or y'all. Gotta Love says, kill the Promesa bill to safe Puerto Rico. Misleading thumbnail? Negative. It's because people believe that, and then they click on the video, and then we get to tell them it was a part of the schedule, and there's nothing to be concerned about. Because that's like getting propagated in mainstream news. or they're amping it that Russia's testing missiles, but it was just on their schedule, not connected to the war in Ukraine. United States, there's the cope cages on the tank. Cope cage evidence. There's some more cope cage. So again, this video here, video from Ukraine's 54th Mechanized Brigade showing artillery strikes on a Russian armored column near Marinka. Here's Marinka on the map. Marinka. Donetsk gets to the west of Donetsk. So likely along this N15 route that Rob from Speak the Truth said it would be a crucial route, right? You guys, a lot of you guys watch Rob. He said that this N15 route would be crucial. I'm betting that that column is on this main route. They're doing this. They've never learned. This is like just more evidence of the Russian columns getting ambushed and destroyed by artillery strikes. Hi, Andrew. Sending blessings to you all from West Texas. How you doing? When did the stream start? 9:45. Good evening, Eddie. Yes, donations to Ukraine can be found on our homepage on the YouTube channel. Click the very first video. I'll show you guys how to find it. One A10 sweep through there, chat. I'm telling you. Thank you. Gave a thumbs up. Thank you. Is there a difference between West Texas and West Texas? Do you know anything about these shadow drones? Is it the kamikaze drones, Ryan? We went through the 300 variant. There's this 300 and a 600. So there's only video of the 300 being used. It's like video game footage from the 600 or like 3D renderings. There's the cope cages on these tanks here. There's the cages. Another one. The Switchblade or Ghost Phoenix drone footage? No, not yet. Haven't seen them used. Well, we'll go through the list. Maybe there might be from today. We'll go right down Rob's footage from today. Video of Ukrainian SSO members destroying a bridge. Now keep in mind the Ukrainians blew up a lot of their own bridges to prevent Russian armor from advancing, which is likely crucial too, looking back. That prevented a lot of their movements early in the invasion, like day 1, 2, 3, that whole first week. They were really limited, especially in the south, for how far up north they could go because a lot of the bridges were blown up. Especially around Kyiv too. Blowing up the bridges around Kyiv and the Kyiv Oblast was crucial to preventing Russian advance from all sides. They really were only limited to where they were in Bucha and Irpin, and then to the northeast towards Chernihiv, and they got destroyed nearly every time over here in Brovary. We the people of Puerto Rico will not be slaves of the system God will love. So that's some more footage from SSO members destroying a bridge. What do we got here? This is from 10 hours ago. Is this from the fire at the weapons plant? BBC Russia. In Tvera, fire broke out at the building of the Research Institute of the Aerospace Defense Troops. The Research Institute was engaged in the development of Iskanders. It's from BBC Russia. That's like BBC's big. I don't know how big BBC Russia is. But so far, yeah, Daily Mail has done an article on it, but no one, BBC did a video, I guess. They're really developing weapons in this type of a building, though. Those for real look like some military barracks. Or like an administration building. Looks like an admin building. They sent a special designed Ukraine shadow drones. Yeah, well, he probably misspoke, but it's those kamikaze drones that can't get picked up on the targeting. We went through them. They're small. They can fit in a backpack. The big ones that they have for tanks, though, they haven't been used or tested yet. Those are the 600s. Those are a little longer. They come out of a tube. Captured Russian Orlan 10 UAV. What does this thing do again? I don't think we watched a video on this. We've seen a couple reports of these Orlan UAVs being shot down in this age of drones and UAVs all over the battlefield.
The Orlan 10 is an unmanned aerial vehicle developed by the Special Technology Center in St. Petersburg for the Russian Armed Forces. The price is reportedly between $87,000 and $120,000. It is usually used in groups of 2 or 3, in which the first is used for reconnaissance at a height of 1 to 1.5 kilometers, the second for electronic warfare, and the third as a transponder which transmits information to the control center. One system can include up to 5 vehicles. More than 1,000 Orlan 10s have been produced, with 11 different variations. The Orlan 10 features a composite hull that reduces its radar signature. It has seen action in Ukraine, Syria, Libya and Nagorno-Karabakh.
Внимание, подготовка к пуску, пуск по готовности разрешаю.
According to media reports, an updated variant of Orlan 10 tactical UAV is to enter service with the Russia's ground forces in 2020. The updated variant is expected to have a laser designator to allow it to pinpoint targets for precision-guided artillery and aircraft munitions.
So okay, it's got cameras on it, and it spots targets for artillery.
Don't forget to hit the like button.
It's a reconnaissance drone. Okay. Got the Z on it. Big reconnaissance drone. That's what I was just about to say. Even the UAV has a Z on it. That's just like, dude. They're doing the most. Here's a video of it. Captured Russian Orlan 10 UAV. Oops. Yeah, they got one. Go to Starsky dissecting one. Oh, here you go.
So basically, this is how the
So, Marvel, does he talk about it here? This is a KA-52 alligator. That'd be good to watch, though, too. Which video did he talk about it? Is it the Day 43 short update? Or this one, the unboxing of the Russian Orlan drone?
Всім привіт, Хардін Старський на зв'язочку. І сьогодні ми будемо проводити анбоксинг російського Орлана, який згідно з їхніми кошторисами коштує від 80 до 120 тисяч доларів. Можливо, там якась супер офігенна сучасна начинка, створена фахівцями інноваційного центру Сколково. І зараз ми перевіримо, з чого складається новітній російський безпілотник Орлан. Так, ну з самого початку нашу увагу привертає ця чудова кришечка, це ж напевно якийсь баг.
So he's breaking this down here. This is a better video. That was a good informative video, but this is Operator Starsky. He's over there fighting in Ukraine. Go subscribe to this channel for sure. Definitely.
Щось мені нагадує. Походу це, коротше...
Hey everybody, comment where you guys are tuned in from. Welcome to Mercado Media. Again, we're watching Operator Starsky. We're just getting some information on these drones and any of the technology or military equipment that we see that, like, I just have no idea what it is. We watch these videos alongside the coverage to just expand our knowledge. But I'm Andy Mercado from Mercado Media. Welcome again, guys. We're covering the war in Ukraine and then just touching on any news that has happened around the world. Thank you again for choosing independent media for your source of news. All right, let's hop back in.
Це пластикова баклага. Рішення, звісно, оригінальне. Видно, що кришечку самопальним методом присобачили сюди. Дуже цікавий бензобак. Над цим бензобаком явно попрацювали фахівці з Сколково. Напевно, такі виготовляють в Кемерово. Я вангую, що це із Кемерово.
Да, до речі, тут фокус написано на камері. Тобто це якесь там власне їхнє виробництво. Можливо, а можливо вони просто переклеюють шильдики з якогось іноземного виробника. Ну...
All right, real quick, we got Naples, Florida tuned in, Carbon Hill, Alabama, Sherman, Texas, Montgomery, Texas, Halifax, Canada, Quebec, Canada, Chicago, Illinois, tuning in from Bemidji, Minnesota, NOLA. We got, who else? We got BC, Canada, Your Bed, live from the heart of Kansas City. Missoula here, Brandon, Oregon, North Carolina, Colville, Washington. Hello from Portville, New York. Hello, everyone. Hey, y'all, how you doing? Florida, hoping for change, Minneapolis. Hello, everyone. New camera angle rules, appreciate that. Yeah, I'll be adding some more. I'll be adding some more camera angles. All right, let's get it. Again, this is Operator Starsky.
Тут дійсно немає жодної кацапської...
How you in Australia?
Серйозно? А оце? Це ж має бути щось російське. А можеш показати?
Ну, яке російське? Ну, йо-моє, ну це ж Canon, класичний Canon.
Та ладно.
Об'єктив 85-ка, от, 3D принтер, будь ласка, все напечатано.
Ого. А так, давай ми його дістанемо.
Давай дістанемо. Опа, така от штука.
Нічого собі. Фотоапарат. Слухай, окей, мені потрібен камерамен. Так, камерамен, ти можеш дати свою експертну оцінку цьому чудовому винаходу, який прилетів до нас із далекого Уссурійська?
Со Сколково.
Со Сколково, так.
Всі нас обманювали. Виявляється, фотоапарати Canon роблять не в Японії. Ну, вони ж заявляють це як прорусський безпілотник, значить Canon робить все-таки в Росії. Окей, це Canon моделі 800D. Об'єктив Canon 85 мм.
They put a Canon camera in there?
Діафрагмою 1,8, який коштує в гривнях новий приблизно 1016. В принципі, дуже прикольне рішення.
А в доларах це скільки?
В доларах
16 поділить на 3?
От, типа, около $500, в общем.
Ага.
Нової серії коштує такий об'єктив. Рішення, в принципі, доволі таки непогане. В попередньому відео від наших колег Збройних сил ми бачили об'єктив 50 мм. Ми бачимо, що фокус закріплений в мануальному режимі, залите епоксидною смолою. Кільце фокусування точно так само заблоковано на режим безкінечність, ну, що дозволяє, в принципі, досягти максимальної дальності фокусування, ну, тобто знімати з повітря. Максимальна висота даного безпілотника 800 метрів. І, в принципі, я думаю, ця штучка справляється з такою зйомкою. Також ми бачимо, що колесо витримки та режими, і кнопка живлення також залиті епоксидною смолою. Тобто він, можна сказати, вони зробили з нього абсолютно стаціонарний пристрій. Навіть батарея під'єднана до живлення. Але оскільки таке рішення є дуже бюджетним, в принципі, це виправдовує всі ризики, так як втратити такий безпілотник на полі бою, в принципі, дуже не жалко. Через дешевизну всіх комплектуючих.
Але ж вони заявляли, що ця штука коштує...
So they're breaking down how the parts are so cheap. And that's, you know what, other thing too, listen, whenever you hear military grade, yeah, it doesn't always mean it's the best. I mean, even the United States Army stuff, like, I mean, they're starting to update. I mean, they're getting cat engines in the trucks now, and I mean, but like, help. It's not always the best. It's kind of cheap. They go off the lowest lowball offers they can do.
80 до 100 тисяч доларів. Що реально в ній може коштувати такі гроші?
Реально в ній може коштувати такі гроші безцінна праця. Скільки там, ти казав, він коштує?
80-120 тисяч доларів.
В принципі, я думаю, що наші строковики скліпали б таку штуку за $3000. В принципі, більшість суми, напевно, пішла б на Вінстон Синій і Ельфбари.
Що це було?
А можете мені щось показати Made in Russia? Вообще.
Made in Russia? Ну...
Це взагалі начинка звідки?
Та скуди я знаю звідки, які згідно склепали, та і все.
Ну окей.
Я передивився все обладнання, яке всередині, я не знайшов жодної їх там якоїсь оригінальної деталі.
No original part that would be marked as made in Russia.
Написано було якась там Росія, Шмасія, там ще якась там залупа. От. Ну, по факту, це тут запчастини всього світу.
Цікаво, що тут затягує?
It's made from parts all around the world, so it's not...
Японський двигун стоїть.
Японський?
Так, японський двигун, я не пам'ятаю маркировку, але по факту японський. Це акумулятор живлення, який запитує всю бортову апаратуру.
Угу.
От. Двигун виконує свою роботу в колаборації там, з електронікою. Це подушка, на яку він сідає, вона зроблена по типу аербага автомобільного. Значить, з цього боку ми бачимо отвір, який забирає на себе повітря під час того, як
Dynamite Jones, thank you.
на парашуті. Ось сюди він передає його, надуває цю подушку, вона отак накачується як памперс, от, і він на неї сідає.
Нова камера для камерамена. Made in Russia.
Пацани, ви серйозно? Ну окей, я згоден, фотоапарат крутий.
Такий фотоапарат я, можливо, можу...
I could use such a camera to photograph weddings. I wasn't gonna say it, but like, listen, I've seen like people out there during the protests, right, that like wanted to try out photojournalism and just see what it was about. Like they ran to Best Buy or Target real quick and just scooped up a camera. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what? It's a good start, solid start, nothing better, right? Somewhere to start. But like the fact that they got this like basic ass Canon Nikon D40 camera that my mom has in a drone, dude.
Фоткати свадьби, але я не знаю, чи довго...
It's a fine camera. It is a fine camera, but like for your military though, this is good for your niece or nephew to practice their photography, or your kids.
Таким зможе здійснювати розвідувальну діяльність. В общем, це дуже дешевий і практичний безпілотник, який, незважаючи на
This probably is actually like upsetting actual photojournalists that spend more money than the Russian military do on their own equipment.
Ну, виготовлені дуже дорого коштує росіянам і всім їх платникам податків.
Я сумніваюся, що росіяни користуються такою термінологією, як ground, тому що це, ну, якби...
Wow, they really are breaking this down. So even in the motherboard, they don't use words like ground. So they wouldn't, on a Russian-made motherboard, that wouldn't exist.
Слово іноземного походження. Як би сильно вони не любили англійську мову, але я сумніваюся, що ці плати, навіть ці грьобані мікросхеми було зроблено в Росії. Щось мені так підказує. Окей, тут пише «Фокус настроєн». Це по ходу тепловізор. Я можу помилятися. Да, але воно не російського виробництва, знову ж таки, тому що ми бачимо маркування з англійськими літерами. Що тут пише? Honda Japan. Окей.
Honda Japan.
Найс. Движок на ньому стоїть японський. Якщо вірити нашим побратимам із Збройних сил, які вже проводили анбоксинг цього пристрою. Справа в тому, що тут потрібен специфічний ключ для того, щоб зняти цей весь кожух. От. Але мені особисто не зрозуміло, що може в цій в цьому літальному апараті міжнародного походження коштувати 120 тисяч доларів. Я думаю, що це дійсно праця, відповідальна праця трудолюбивого тувінського народу, який складав цю птічку для того, щоб вона полетіла на розвідку в Україну. З вами був Хардін Старський, і я бажаю вам перемоги.
Let's look at another Starsky video, the Russian tank. The KA-52 Alligator. We've looked at videos of this thing. This is one of their big helicopters that they have. It's got the two dual rotors on the top. And I'll show you what it looks like before Starsky goes through it. This is an example of a KA-52 Alligator. It's got the dual rotors on the top and bottom. Stacked rotors, if you will.
So basically this is how the Russian demilitarized KA-52 looks like. This is KA-52, marvel of Russian military engineering, the helicopter that cannot be destroyed. Or so Russian advertisement says. As you see, it's kind of destroyed. This one has been shot down by Ukrainian conscripts in Hostomel. So this
Ukrainian conscripts shot that down?
Kind of Russian flying tank. You see those two rotors, very specific for KA-50 and KA-52. They are counter-rotating. That's why this helicopter doesn't have that stabilizing rotor in its tail.
I was going to say that too. The Titanic came into my brain really fast. I was quickly thinking, did Russians have any hand in assembling the Titanic? Did any Russians have, or did the Russian government have any hand in building that back in the day?
So I literally found a piece of its armor. I don't know, maybe because of temperature, this armor doesn't look very kind of solid. This looks like a piece of its windshield.
That's not bulletproof.
Glass is kind of thick. Here you can see its exhaust, and these are the electronics. Oh, and here's something interesting. This looks like POH, pilot operating handbook for this aircraft.
Good old -10.
or what's left of it.
Russia built the iceberg.
And this is Russian electronics. You see that little mouse that died inside. Apparently this is famous Russian module. I think those are infrared sites and stuff like that. I'm not really familiar with these kind of modules, but its armor sucks, so to say.
So he's really just he's like, yeah, this is like their big gunship, but look at how shitty all these pieces are. He's broke down the Orlan 10 for being the junk that it is. And this KA-52 Alligator helicopter, he's really showing the quality of armor and like how much this is really not a gunship that it looks like, or that they claim it to be.
You see that this armor has a lot of holes from fragments or maybe bullets. You can see how it looks like here. Basically, you can see these edges here. I literally wasn't able to find any armor or something that more or less looks like armor in this helicopter. For example, when you see a destroyed tank or APC, you see that it has a body armor, and nothing like this can be found in this crash site.
Like the video if you guys haven't. Again, this is Operator Starsky. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel as well. Just straight out of Ukraine. But make sure you like our stream as well. Like the video, subscribe to our channel if you guys are tuned in. Breaking down a KA-52 helicopter. What is that? What was that? Was that their arm? Is that what's like inside the armor? It's honeycombed? That doesn't look like it's gonna stop anything serious. What the hell? You post daily. What is that? What is that, chat? Now let's continue on. Join our Discord server. We got a lot of people on our Discord server that have been sharing video clips. Here's more from that Aerospace Defense Research Institute of the Russian Ministry of Defense in Tver, which was on fire. Reportedly, it developed Russian Iskander missiles along with other air technologies. Russian media reported about 5 dead by a local resident. So here's more from that fire at the Aerospace Defense Research Facility. And here it is on the map. We looked up where Tver is. There's a piece of a rotor blade. Killer bees made a home inside of it. Soundproofing. So I'll show you guys where Tver is. There it is. There it is in the map. Welcome, Jennifer, to Snack Size. Welcome to Mercado. I almost said welcome to Snack Squad. This channel, again, used to be called Snack Squad. Tver is a distance from Ukraine.
людей много, все снимают, что происходит. Ёб твою мать. Пауза.
Внимание! Контроль, стоп, камеры.
Что происходит?
That's a building in Tver, quite a ways away from Ukraine. And then the other one was in, what was the other city? The other fire at this one, the Dmitskrivi chemical plant in the city of Kanishma. Kanishma is even further. This is in Russia. Yeah, it's even further to the east from Moscow. That's super far away from Ukraine. Way far. I don't know. I think that, me personally, I feel that's some, I don't know. That has nothing to do with, I don't think that has anything to do with Ukraine though, or like Ukraine military strikes on these, like, no. I don't know what these two events were in Russia, but I have very little belief that Ukraine had any hand in this at all, or the war. You know what I mean? It's Russia, or something happened. I just don't feel it's connected. Just look at the geography. They're so far away from Ukraine. We've had a couple reports of strikes in Belgrade, or from the Belgrade governor. But even then, it's like just drunk. Look, just all you gotta do is be like, just show how far away it is. It's way up here. Ukraine's down here. I'm gonna go on the side of I don't really believe that. Or it could be another theory, I guess, because you can really only theorize with things like this. Would be like inside, like Russians doing it, like inside job type stuff. So either self-inflicted inside job. It could have been could just be an emergency explosion or something. I don't know. That sounds a little bit more far-fetched. All right, what's this video now? Chechen Rozgavirda troops in combat with AK-74M rifles and KM-AK Obets kits. What is that? EOTech and possibly aim-point optics. And a GM-94 grenade launcher. I wonder if they're going to be using their optics in this video. I wonder. Oh, I've seen this. Of course they don't. He like tries this one. This fighter. This one doesn't use it at all. Yeah, we saw this clip yesterday. You can see the Z. These are the Chechen fighters, just real quick. You can see the Z on the shoulder, white armbands. So you know that's how you know they're fighting for the Russian side. You can see they got suppressors on this piece. Look at that. They're out there. They got level 10 prestige max attachments unlocked, and they're not even using them. Look at, they got extended clips. They got goddamn. They got all the attachments unlocked. Laura, thank you. $10. Yeah, that's the Chechen fighters. They're making videos, guys. That's the best way to put the Chechen forces. They're making content, war videos. Low flying Russian Mi-24 helicopter in Donbas. Videos posted 2 days ago. 2 days ago in Donbas, an Mi-24 helicopter. Thank you so much for that, Laura. That is low flying. When is this? Good to bear in mind while preparing for the post-war Ukraine, the basic things stay. The need for good governance, making best use of the successful decentralization, reform, recruiting best talents from the... Okay, who's this? Who's this person? Ambassador to the European Union of Ukraine. How about Ambassador, you just let Ukraine join the European Union already? Get that going, huh? To liberate Mariupol, you need to break through 120 kilometers of occupied villages and towns to liberate Mariupol. The other thing too that I saw somebody, another channel, I can't think of who does it. They do the shorts or the reels on YouTube, and they believe that they are able to get some type of weapon armaments into Mariupol, based upon this rocket that the Azov battalion used. Let's pull it up. And they didn't have it in there until recently. Where is it? This one? No. Scroll down some. And so this channel was theorizing that they are able to get some type of weapon. They have like a weapons corridor or something. Let me pull it up. It was a couple days ago. I know we shared it. Here, this one. Azov posted a video of Mariupol showing one of their soldiers hitting a BTR with the anti-tank weapon. And they said what type of anti-tank weapon this was, and I can't remember it. But they just got a fresh shipment of these things.
Yes.
I'll show it to you from the beginning if you haven't seen it.
Yes.
You read that the letters E stood for Zero Level Ground Force? It's actually their Eastern Military Bloc, but it's become so much more. Become so much more. So they're able to get weapons in there. Still waiting for more humanitarian aid or humanitarian relief in Mariupol. Defenders of Mariupol consider unacceptable the demand of the Russian Federation to lay down their weapons. Mariupol will not lay down their weapons. How are you, Nathan? Defenders of Mariupol consider unacceptable the demand of the Russian Federation to lay down their weapons and surrender. They are ready under the guarantees of the third party to evacuate from the city with small arms. They're at a standstill right now, or a stalemate in Mariupol because of in this Azovstal steel factory, chat. There is like underground tunnels. We've already read that these tunnels can these underground tunnel systems in this Azovstal steel factory. Let's pull it up on the satellite. This Azovstal steel factory can withstand like a nuclear event. It's definitely like the artillery strikes on this steel plant aren't doing anything to the underground tunnels and the people that are taking refuge in this steel factory under the ground. And they're having the Chechen fighters, which they were in there for like a day or two, or at least their videos showed that they were in there. Now the Chechen fighters, they're doing propaganda videos out in this region somewhere, in the same neighborhood. But some of the Chechen fighters got rerouted to Kherson. They got sent to go reinforce the Kherson region. But they're having a tough time in terms of the Russian military, the Chechen fighters breaking through in the steel factory due to the intricacies and the amount of tunnel systems that are here in this steel factory. Let's see if there's any like videos on Azovstal steel. plant, Mariupol? Was there like a history video on it? Let me see. History. I really wish there would be like a history video. Azovstal, Ukraine-based metallurgy plant, one of Europe's largest, bombed by Russia. Ukraine's troops outnumbered 10-1. It's not a good situation there. What is this 4K drone video, though? Azovstal metallurgical plant is a gigantic steel complex located in Mariupol, Ukraine. It is mainly a steelworks producing iron, coke, and then steel, an alloy of iron and carbon. It is located on the Sea of Azov, allowing the use of maritime transport. The construction of the Azovstal metallurgical plant in Mariupol was decided by the Supreme Council of the USSR in 1930. The production of the iron began in 1933 and that of steel in 1935, being part of the USSR and then of Ukraine since 1991. Until recent years, it was the largest steel complex in Europe by production volume. This factory is now the scene of fierce battles for its control and that of the whole city since March 2022. This steel plant will go down in history. I'm just letting you guys know that. It will be like talked about in history books. Like this steel factory is going to go down and this is going to be in history books, this one. Oh, look, there's a train system that goes through there. Again, this is the Azovstal plant when it's in operation, or what it looks like, or what it looked like before the war. That's a very large steel plant, I'll tell you what. Alright, let's see now. That was what it looked like. Here's what it is now. Used to connect it to Moscow. Azovstal steel factory.
After weeks of relentless bombardment, Russia is in control of most of Mariupol. But the Azovstal steelworks is the last bastion of Ukrainian defence in this port city. Around 2,000 fighters and hundreds of civilians are holed up in the massive industrial plant. They've been under constant shelling. But now, Russia has changed its tactics.
Предлагаемый штурм I consider the proposed storming of the industrial...
He looks very ill. They said that, I read reports already, he held onto this table this entire talk today.
...zone unnecessary. I order you to cancel it. There is no need to climb into these catacombs and crawl underground through these facilities. Block off this industrial area so even a fly cannot pass through.
The Ukrainian soldiers have been told they can surrender. These red flags line a corridor in which they can take to do so. If they choose not to, the other option for now appears to be to stay underground and risk starvation. Outside the steelworks, there are still around 100,000 Ukrainian civilians trapped in Mariupol. Some were able to leave the city on Wednesday, but far fewer than the 6,000 authorities had hoped to evacuate. Ukraine says the humanitarian corridor agreed with Moscow collapsed because Russia has a lack of control over its troops.
We need a break after this shelling. After all this nightmare, we've been hiding in basements for 30 days.
In the country's second biggest city, Kharkiv, Ukrainian soldiers are firing back on Russian positions. This comes as the mayor says he and his people are once again under intense bombardment. Across Ukraine's east, the country's soldiers are digging in for what is proving to be an intense battle as Moscow focuses its fighting in the Donbas.
In the Kherson region, the invaders plan to organise the forced mobilisation of the population. The occupiers have set a goal to completely block the humanitarian support the Ukrainian authorities are organising. The terror of the Ukrainian people continues.
The Kherson region's over here on the map. What he was talking about. So that's Mariupol. Mariupol. Did I just say it right that time? And then now Kherson is over here. That's what he was talking about. To the southeast of Mykolaiv.
The Spanish and Danish prime ministers are the latest in a string of world leaders to arrive in Kiev in a show of solidarity for Ukraine. Their mission is to discuss ways they can support the prosecution of war crimes and human rights violations. For those still stranded in Mariupol, the human rights violations are all too real. Many have spent weeks underground with food, medicine and drinking water, all very scarce. And now the promise of a safe passage out of the horror looks like it has once again failed to materialise. Sarah Morris, TRT World.
So that's more on the situation in Mariupol.
Holed up under this steelworks complex are the last remaining Ukrainian fighters in the port city of Mariupol. So far, they've not yielded to Moscow's ultimatum to lay down their arms and surrender. However, their commander is begging for international allies to rescue them and the hundreds of civilians sheltering with them and take them to a safe country.
This could be the last appeal of our lives. We are probably facing our last days, if not hours. The enemy is outnumbering us 10 to 1. They have the advantage in the air, in artillery, in their forces on land, in equipment and in tanks.
About 100,000 civilians remain stranded in besieged Mariupol. Food, water and medicine are all scarce. A mission to evacuate 6,000 women, children and elderly people via a humanitarian corridor negotiated with Moscow started on Wednesday. But Ukraine is wary as such agreements have been violated before. So it's now offering to release Russian prisoners of war in return for the safe passage of Ukrainian civilians out of Mariupol.
Our troops in Mariupol have hundreds of injured people on their hands, defending civilians, covering them with their backs, and in doing so, they are losing their lives.
From Russia came this ominous image. Moscow says it's test-launched its new Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile. The Kremlin claims it can hit any target on Earth and carry 12 nuclear warheads.
It can penetrate all modern anti-missile defences. There's nothing like it in the world, and there won't be for a long time to come. This weapon will strengthen the combat potential of our armed forces and provide food for thought for those who, in the heat of frenzied aggressive rhetoric, try to threaten our country.
So that's he was talking about that ICBM launch, which is what the thumbnail of the video is. And just to let you guys know, Russia. This was on schedule Russia tests nuclear capable missile that Putin calls world's best. And it's important to point out that the United States was aware of this test. It wasn't like a provocation for the war, or like it wasn't like Russia threatening that they're going to use this in Ukraine. This was a part of their test schedule. Here's a video of it if you haven't seen it yet. This one's only about a minute. Oh, yeah. They show like 18 different angles of this thing launching.
On the ground, shelling has intensified across the Donbas region in eastern Ukraine. The city of Kramatorsk is just one of the areas being bombed. Russia says its forces hit more than 1,000 Ukrainian military targets in its latest blitz. But Ukraine says it has had some success in repelling Russian advances.
In the past 24 hours on the...
All right. Pull this up. Sped up version, 2 minutes of Putin's interview. Is there English? Is there one with English on the screen with it? Can we try to find that? During the entire 12 minutes of the meeting with Shoigu, Putin sat in an unnatural position, grabbing the table with his hand and not letting go. My birthday, I hope you're having a good birthday. My birthday isn't until July. This was noticed by social media users. According to Proact, Putin is experiencing back pain after falling from a horse in 2012.
Поздравляю вас с профессиональным праздником, Днем войск Национальной гвардии России. Созданная 6 лет назад, Росгвардия стала неотъемлемым, надежным звеном в единой государственной системе.
Было комфортно, то откуда эта хромота? Или вот это? Кстати, эти кадры сильно урезали для телевидения. Видео сохранилось только в Ютубе Московской Патриархии. Здесь осень 2000.
My birthday is on July 19th. Yo, July 19th. Summer birthdays in here. Yeah, summer birthdays around here.
2012 года. Путин только начал свой третий срок и признаваться стране, что с ним
I'm just gonna start saying thank you from now on.
Что-то не так. Ой, как не хотелось.
He's gripping that table really tight on the corner. All right, that's more on Putin. Here's Biden today. President Biden announces the U.S. will ban Russian-affiliated ships from docking in American ports to further deny Russia from the benefits of the international economic system.
Today, I'm announcing that the United States will ban Russian-affiliated ships from our ports, as they did in Europe. That means no ship that sails under the Russian flag or that is owned or operated by a Russian interest will be allowed to dock in a United States port or access our shores.
Thank y'all. Thank you, guys.
None.
Thank you.
Today, I'm announcing that the United States will ban Russian-affiliated ships from our ports, as they did in Europe. That means no ship that sails under the Russian flag or that is owned or operated by a Russian interest will be allowed to dock in the United States port or access our shores. None. None. Today, I'm announcing that the United States will ban Russian-affiliated ships from our ports, as they did in Europe. That means no ship that sails under the Russian flag or that is owned or operated by a Russian interest will be allowed to dock in the United States port or access our shores. None.
Okay. So, putting his foot down, I think, on the ports in America. What is this here? So it looks like Chechen fighters. The Chechen unit, Kredovsky and Mariupol, proud of their destruction. The speaker, quote, in order to destroy and purge Mariupol is fulfilled. The order of President Putin is fulfilled. The order of Kadyrov is fulfilled. Whatever, dude. If anything, like... Thank goodness we're following this war on a day-to-day basis, because if we didn't, dude, this is for people that aren't following the war on a day-to-day basis, that would know that the Chechen forces are literally there to make videos.
уверенностью можем сказать, что Мариуполь город полностью очищен со стороны Азовсталя. Это административное здание Азовсталя. Спецоперация по уничтожению и очистке Мариуполя сегодня, можно сказать, завершено. Указание президента страны Владимира Владимировича Путина выполнено. Указание Рамзана Ахматовича, главы Чеченской Республики, приказ выполнен. Ахмат! Сила! 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 Вместе! Сила! Аллаху Акбар! Сегодня
There's the Chechen forces. Some of them have their phones out taking TikToks for the photo.
можем сказать, что Мариуполь город полностью очищен со стороны Азовсталя. Это административное здание Азовсталя. Спецоперация по уничтожению и очистке.
And they take the video and the picture in front of a burning building.
И очистке Мариуполя сегодня, можно сказать, завершено. Указание.
Got the Z on there, Z on the chest. Russian flag on the, he's got safety goggles, beard.
Президента страны Владимира Владимировича Путина выполнено. Указание Рамзана.
We've seen some of these fighters prominently in videos. This guy, these four right here we've seen in many. These four.
Выполнено. Указание Рамзана Ахматовича, главы Чеченской Республики. Приказ выполнен. Ахмат! Сила! Ахмат! Сила! Ахмат! Сила! 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 Вместе! Сила! Аллаху Акбар!
Alright, that's from the Chechen forces in Mariupol. What is this here? Reddit post. Why is this like a secondary video? A video of a video? No, they're not doing this. It's trying to find me a video so we're not watching a video of somebody's video of Biden talking. Try to find the original. Let's try to find the original source of that. Like the video if you guys haven't. Welcome to Mercado Media. I'm your host, Andrew Mercado. Thank you again for choosing independent media for your source of information for the war in Ukraine. Comment where you guys are tuning in from, what city, what state, where in the world. I'm an independent journalist, U.S. Army veteran. I served from 2012 to 2020, 4 years active duty, and then 4 years in the Army Reserves with one tour to the Middle East. So I know a thing or two, but I don't know everything, which is why we have an amazing veteran community. So comment if you served in any armed forces, whether it be in the United States or international. Shout out to our amazing veteran community. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have so many veterans. All right, let's continue on. Southwest Minnesota's tuned in. Ogden, Utah tuned in. Hi from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Iowa's tuned in. Tacoma, Washington. Welcome, y'all. Medford, Oregon's tuned in. We can go to Funker through 5:30. And then we got Rob Speak the Truth video. I'm pulling up everything I can in our Discord server as well for the day. Good thing we cut these things down to 3 hours. I could not fill 6 hours worth of coverage anymore like we used to. Map showing the movements over the last 7 weeks or so. Well, this will be a good recap video of showing the invasion and then where the map is now. So the red is going to be Russian. This is the 28th, so look at the top, March 1st. We'll start the video over. So this will show that red is Russian forces. This is the country of Ukraine. Back to bed from Mississippi. We got the Navy tuned in. How you guys doing? Hello there, Maria. Eric, you have a pee fetish. And now you're banned. You were commenting that yesterday. What a silly. Auburn, Nebraska. How you doing? United States Marine Corps, 97 to 2001. Thank you for your service. Blue is Ukrainian-controlled territory in our map now. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Thank you so much for tuning in. Independence, Missouri. Australia. 19 Delta living in Florida first. Last out. 2 tours. Salem, New Hampshire. That was a breakdown of where you guys can see the ending. All the Russian forces that were up to the north near Kyiv, and then they got pushed out of there. March 17th, March 19th, 20th, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. Now we're on April 1st. Now you can see the Russian forces are starting to get eradicated from the northeast and the northwest. And further pushed away. Now they're completely gone out of the northern Kyiv area, Kyiv region. They're to the east and to the south. Map. Airborne all the way, huh? All right, let's go to Rob's video from 16 hours ago. Putin tells forces to seal off last Mariupol fighters. Let's check this out from BBC first.
Hello and welcome, whether you're watching fighters are still holed up. Mariupol is...
Like the video if you guys haven't. Make sure, again, you are subscribed to the channel.
At the southernmost edge of a region known as the Donbas, and gaining full control of the port city would allow Russia to move troops and supplies northwards from down here in the Crimea, which they've already taken. That would help Russia's objective of extending.
Has been destroyed by weeks of relentless Russian bombardment. Some civilians have been able to leave the city, but the evacuation didn't go according to plan. It was hoped several thousand would be
74 Series Army 2016 to present, OPSEC. Thank you, Jarrett.
allowed out. In the end, the number was far fewer. Ukraine's deputy prime minister said an exit corridor didn't work properly, accusing Russia of a lack of control over its troops.
We need a break after the shelling, after all this nightmare. We've been hiding in basements for 30 days.
Ukrainian officials say they are ready to travel to Mariupol for talks on the evacuation of further civilians and military personnel.
The situation in the east and south of our country remains as severe as possible. The occupiers won't give up trying to gain at least some victory for themselves through a new, large-scale offensive.
It's too late for Vanda Obiedkova. The 91-year-old survived the Nazi occupation of Mariupol in the Second World War. Ukraine's foreign ministry said she died earlier this month in a basement, freezing, pleading for water.
There's Russia's test, which again, Vladimir Putin himself said pretty much like this just shows the strength of our missile capabilities, and like if something were to happen, like this is a good example of our capabilities. But this missile test was on their scheduling. The United States, the Pentagon fully knew about this happening before it happened. It was on there. There's like a schedule. It's called START, capital START schedule for these rocket tests, and this was on that. So Let's see if they try to connect it to Ukraine, or if that's going to be a thing in this reporting.
Russia has released this footage, which it says shows the successful test flight of a new intercontinental ballistic missile capable of carrying nuclear warheads. President Putin said it would make those who threaten his country think twice. But any negotiations with the Kremlin are doomed to failure, according to Boris Johnson, who says dealing with the Russian president is like bargaining with a crocodile when it's got your legs in its jaws. So the fighting continues. The US president has paid tribute to the Ukrainian people resisting the onslaught.
One try, and it's called New Start. Let me look that up really quick. Let me get a source on that.
Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
New START treaty. Here it is. Treaty structure: the treaty between the United States of America and the Russian Federation on measures for the further reduction and limitation of strategic offensive arms, also known as the New START Treaty, enhances U.S. national security by placing verifiable limits on all Russian deployed intercontinental range nuclear weapons. The United States and Russian Federation have agreed to extend the treaty through February 4th, 2026. So we have that with them until the 2026. Somebody put in the chat World War III 2027. Someone put that earlier. I saw one of the comments. Both the United States and Russian Federation met the central limits of the New START Treaty by February 5th, 2018, and have stayed at or below them ever since. Those limits are 700 deployed intercontinental ballistic missiles, deployed submarine-launched ballistic missiles, and deployed heavy bombers equipped for nuclear armaments. 1550 nuclear warheads on deployed ICBMs, deployed SLBMs, and deployed heavy bombers equipped for nuclear armaments, such as a heavy bomber, is counted as one warhead towards this limit. 800 deployed and non-deployed ICBM launchers, SLBM launchers, and heavy bombers equipped for nuclear armaments. New START limits all Russian deployed intercontinental range nuclear weapons, including every Russian nuclear warhead that is loaded onto an intercontinental range ballistic missile that can reach the United States in approximately 30 minutes. That's the one that Russian state media was laughing about, that it could reach New York City. The clip that came out yesterday. It also limits the deployed Vanguard and under development Sarmat, and two of the most operationally available of the Russian Federation's new long-range nuclear weapons that can reach the United States. Extending New START ensures that we will have verifiable limits on the mainstay of Russian nuclear weapons that can reach the U.S. homeland for the next 5 years. As most of the recent data exchanged on September 1st, 2020, the Russian Federation declared 1447 deployed strategic warheads. The Russian Federation has a capacity to deploy many more than 1,550 warheads on its modernized ICBMs. So the smart asses on the comments before we started the stream, your thumbnail is misleading. Your thumbnail is misleading. Correction. You're misleading.
They were tough and proud, but I tell you what, they're tougher and more proud than I thought. I'm amazed what they're doing with your help.
No.
He said more weapons and ammunition were getting through to the Ukrainian army, but there are fierce fights ahead in a war in which there is no end in sight. Simon Jones, BBC News.
Well, our correspondent in the west of Ukraine, Lviv, is Joe Inwood. And he gave us the very latest about what President Putin has said on Mariupol.
Well, in the last few minutes, it's emerged that President Putin has orders his troops not to storm the Azovstal steel plant. That's the place, as you were saying earlier, where the last Ukrainian defenders of Mariupol are holed up, and we were expecting a really bloody battle to take it. The defenders there are outnumbered 10-1. They were speaking to the BBC yesterday and saying that they were on their last days, if not hours. They're running short of food and ammo. But President Putin has said they don't need to storm the plant now, and instead they can seal it off. So what we're moving from, is an all-out assault to something of a siege. Now, exactly what this is going to do to the dynamics in the rest of the country, well, that's going to be really crucial. It had been said that Russia needed to take Mariupol so it could remove troops from there and continue its assault in the east of the country, in the Donbas. Now, if they're not going to fully take the city, but simply put parts of it under a state of siege, can they withdraw those troops? What happens if they do? So this is a significant development in the conflict, the implications of which are going to be really crucial over the next coming weeks.
Okay, we'll get reaction to those President Putin claims in a moment. What about the people, the civilians? About over 100,000 are still in the city of Mariupol, and there are reportedly up to 1,000 people actually in the steel plant as well.
Yeah, we understand a lot of those people are the families and friends of the soldiers who are fighting there. There had been requests to have a humanitarian corridor to get them out. Yesterday, there was talk from a wider city of getting up to 6,000 people out via humanitarian corridors. In the end, 4 buses made it out. That's it. So
4 buses, not surprising. Russia's never obeyed, or they don't obey those. We watched live humanitarian vehicles in the Kyiv Oblast that were driving across the bridge fast to try to get civilians out during the initial stages of the war a few weeks ago. It's good to see this camera angle again. We haven't seen this since the live streams.
Nothing close.
I do miss watching those live streams and hearing the birds.
To the numbers who would like to leave. Those would be civilians, women, children, the elderly. They're on their way to a town called Zaporizhia now, which is inside Ukrainian territory just south of Dnipro. If we're going to see the full humanitarian corridor that's been requested, demanded indeed, by the Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine, well, we'll find out. They've said they are open to negotiations without preconditions, but we've heard that before, and it's failed to materialise before.
Well, as Joe said, President Putin has been talking about Mariupol. Let's have a listen.
I consider the proposed storming of the industrial zone unnecessary. I order you to cancel it.
Hold on, I want to hear that one more time.
I consider the proposed storming of the industrial zone unnecessary. I order you to cancel it.
The storming of the industrial zone unnecessary. I order you to cancel it?
This is a case where we must think especially about preserving the lives and health of our soldiers and officers. There's no need to climb into these catacombs and crawl underground through these industrial facilities. Block off this industrial area so that even a fly cannot escape.
So the strategy that Putin wants to do, and got to keep an eye on chemical weapon usage now too, because that's their signature. So what they want to do now, instead of sending and getting more of their troops killed, because again, this factory is just a big giant fortress, and it's got underground tunnels and passageways, and there's just tons of people and civilians under here. So what Putin wants to do with the military now is just block off all access to any help or any exits out of here, so that way they're just trapped here. And then they're in general they're fighting a war of attrition. But this move here on its own is a move of attrition here, basically waiting for the Azov battalion. There's a couple other units in there too, beyond the Azov battalion, to starve, run out of equipment. I mean, they're gonna eventually have to send. They're gonna have to send their own civilians out to get food, or however. So definitely a situation developing there, and that's what Vladimir Putin wants. He wants to seal off this entire. He said, you know what? Instead of sending soldiers in and getting them killed, now we're going to seal off this entire steel plant, and we're going to make sure they don't get any aid in there, and then they're going to starve to death, and not have any help. The issue is with Mariupol. I apologize. I'm starting to say it the correct way. Is it's completely cut off. The Russian forces have it locked down, and now I watched a channel that covered some of the weapons that the Azov battalion is receiving, and they didn't have those weapons before the siege of Mariupol. So there is likely there is likely corridors like that are unknown to the public, hopefully, and hopefully it stays that way, for operational security, that they're able to get weapons inside of there. Likely going to be increased resistance or increased efforts to try to get more humanitarian aid in there, get them out, but it's not looking good. And Russia has control of the water too, so there's no way out through sea. This is the Mariupol. There's Mariupol. All that's left is that steel factory, y'all. That's all that's left.
Once again, invite all those who've not yet laid down their arms to do so. The Russian side guarantees their lives and their dignified treatment. Of course, taking control of such an important centre in the south as Mariupol is a success. Congratulations to you.
I've been talking to General Sir Richard Barrons. He's formerly one of the British Army's most senior commanders, and he gave us this assessment about the latest developments.
I think we should recognise that the battle for Mariupol in a military sense was coming to a conclusion where the Ukrainian defenders
Mariupol
in the steelworks were going to be really, really difficult to defeat at enormous cost, actually, to both sides. But that defence was no longer really relevant to who controls the city and the roads that run through the city that now connect Russia through the coast to Crimea. And we should recognise that we're on the eve of the Russian Orthodox Easter. So today's announcement allows President Putin to announce some success, and it is genuine success from a Russian perspective on the eve of this religious festival. And it allows the military to not expend much more resource on a battle for the steelworks, which was militarily relevant, but to turn for what really matters now, which is the battle for the Donbas.
Okay, so in terms of success ahead of the Orthodox Easter celebrations this weekend, are you saying they've got Mariupol now, pretty much, that's it? It doesn't matter about the steel plant?
I think from a military perspective, the battle for the steelworks was essentially irrelevant, so long as Russia is capable of connecting Crimea to Russia through the city, and they are.
Okay. So, in terms of who has the upper hand right now, what is your view?
Who is this guy?
So I think it's very finely balanced indeed, and we need to be clear, there really is no script. There's no guaranteed outcome either way on what happens next, and the focus will be on the Donbas, particularly the northeastern bit of the Donbas, where Russia will try and encircle the Ukrainian military to get behind their well-prepared positions.
I don't know what this guy's on, but all of Russia's propaganda is in Mariupol too. All of the combat videos that we see from RT, from the Chechens, from everything is in Mariupol. I mean, yes, there is fighting and activity into the northeast, slightly south of Kharkiv, along Izium, along this route. What is this? Along MO3, in Kramatorsk in here, but he's saying there's. You say Mariupol isn't as big of a deal militarily. I don't know if I agree with him there. I think Mariupol is huge militarily. All of their propaganda and their entire reasoning for invading this country is based upon this region here, the plant. So there's three, I'd say three fronts going on here to the south and to the east. There's Mariupol. I'll try to say it right eventually. I've been saying it wrong for weeks now, apparently. Mariupol, right? The Azovstal steel plant. You have over here shelling of Mykolaiv, or they're trying to hit soft targets in Mykolaiv. The Russian military made an attempt and failed. They were repelled and actually retreated over here in Kherson. They tried to move to Mykolaiv, because if they take Mykolaiv, then obviously the next move is Odessa along the port cities. They haven't even came close. They hit mines in the sea. There were a couple targeted locations in Odessa and since the invasion began, but nothing major for Odessa. And then up here in the Donbas, So that's the three areas of conflict. It'd be the Donbas, the steel factory in Mariupol, and then attempts at Mykolaiv, or at least shelling of Mykolaiv by the Russian military up here.
If the Russians are good enough to do that, concentrate forces.
I don't know. Let's go to Rob. I don't know what that guy's talking about. The plant, not the city, is not that important. Well, in terms of it's got their civilian population in it, and they're going to be underneath in the catacombs as long as they'll be allowed to, as long as they're not starving. Are you referring to the city? The city as a whole is more important than the factory.
How?
Losing the city as a whole, like in general, is a bigger loss than the steel factory would be. Mariupol isn't any military use anymore. We'll see. All right, let's go to Rob from Speak the Truth for his update for the day. Top secret Russian facilities destroyed by unknown operatives. Oh, it looks like he's going to be talking about the two. This one, the chemical plant in the city of Kanishma on fire, and then the weapons plant, the weapons. I keep wanting to say weapons disposal facility, like from Metal Gear Solid, but it's not. It's hold on, where is it? Lists. Come on. Not too many videos from today, so we should be able to find it quickly. Got a chemical plant and then a weapons research plant in Tver, which isn't far from Moscow either. Looks like we have some more military clips to go through as well. Definitely, there's another RT video. Where, oh, look, weird. Same area as it always looks like. Trying to find that other type in Tver. Here it is, Aerospace Defense Research Institute of the Russian Ministry of Defense burnt down in Tver. So I'm sure he's going to talk about this, and he's going to talk about the chemical plant. Let's see this video, though. We haven't seen this. We don't use Streamlabs for donations anyways, so they can get that taken down. I don't care. We have a website, we have everything. So go ahead, go ahead. That Streamlabs link doesn't even work. So these two events were in Russia. You had the Aerospace Defense Research Institute, and then you had the chemical plant in Kanishma. Really quick before we get into Rob's video. Kanishma is 950 kilometers from Ukraine, so it's quite a distance. Here it is on the map. Here's Kanishma. This is where the chemicals plant is. Here's Ukraine. Here's the video quick. I don't take any breaks. We go straight for 3 hours or more and then we're done. No breaks. So we got about another hour and a half left. Probably an hour. It's getting hard, y'all. We used to be able to fill 6 hours. I used to be able to do 6 hours straight of coverage, and now I can't. Just because I don't have as much information available. All right, here's Rob's video. Again, this is Speak the Truth on YouTube. Rob Turkla. He was an Army sniper. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to military tactics and He has a map that he puts together himself that's a little bit more detailed and accurate than the live UA map. So let's tune in. Most of you guys already tune into his content. So here we go.
How are you guys doing? Welcome over to the channel. If you guys are new, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button. I'm telling you this because we upload every single day over this conflict. And I believe that I'm probably the most up to date when it comes to stuff on the ground because I use multiple different sources and I make my maps myself. So if you guys are new to the channel, the maps you're going to see are ones that I've made myself. So you have red Russia, blue Ukraine, fairly obvious. These little blue triangle marks are going to be heavily fortified areas for the Ukrainian forces, and the same thing with Russia when you see those. And then the lightly blue is going to be like frontline trace, I guess you would say, of either party, either going to be Ukrainian or Russian. The black lines are going to be your supply and your logistical routes, essentially, all the way throughout the Russian-held areas as of right now. So we're going to go ahead and kick this episode off with a fantastic piece from the Russian State TV, which is calling for war against NATO once again. And they're just asking this out loud, if we have enough weapons and or people to defend ourselves once Russia's special operation in Ukraine comes to an end. So please enjoy this video, and I'll see you here in a second.
Будем перемалывать и военную машину НАТО, и, извините, так получится, граждан тех стран, которые являются гражданами стран НАТО. Поэтому, когда эта вся операция закончится, НАТО надо будет себя спросить, а нам есть чем защищаться? И нам есть кем защищаться? А пощады не будет. Пощады не будет.
Germany is also confirmed, by the way, it's going to stop buying Russian oil by the end of 2022. Well, they're pretty much just doing this in hopes of the fact that the war's over with and they can just, well, not really follow through on this thing, because Germany's been kind of in a weird spot. I don't know if you guys have read much on it. I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but if you're a German watching this, which we do have a fairly large German audience, I do feel bad for you because your political leaders right now are making you guys look pretty wild. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, Ukraine's also been able to add around 20 new fighter jets by fixing inoperable aircraft supplied from Europe. Not actually given aircraft, but like nuts and bolts and wings and just random stuff to actually make planes that weren't operable now operable. Russia still doesn't have air superiority, by the way, after 56 days. Yes, they've been in war for 56 days and still haven't got air superiority. Kind of a big deal. Russia's also added a few more BTGs over the last 24 hours. I'm going to be honest with you guys. As I'm making this video, I've actually seen it's gone from 4 to 6 to 8 new BTGs over the last 12 to 24 hours. They keep adding all this men inside this area. I'm now coming to the conclusion I do not believe they've actually started the initial big push through eastern side of Ukraine, because I'm still seeing all these very large masses of men sitting in certain areas that haven't really made any really big movements. And I think it has to do with Mariupol. So we'll talk about it here a little bit. So the video you guys are going to be seeing here in a second is coming out of the northern side of Moscow, and it's of a SAM S-200. So it's in the town just north of Moscow, in the town of Tver. I don't know exactly how to say this. T-V-E-R. T might be silent. V is. You know what? I don't care. As long as I know where it's going and where it's gone, where it's ended up. So St. Petersburg is where I believe this. The reason why I say this is because what's going on over there. You have Finland and Sweden are thinking about joining NATO. So this S-200, by the way, that you guys are about to see, let's go ahead and show it. So what you just saw was that S-200. I believe it's going to St. Petersburg. And the reason why I say that, it's meant to defend large areas from bomber attacks. It can actually hit targets at altitudes near 115,000 feet in the air. That's fairly high. To me, that almost seems like it's in space, or is in space. I'm very curious. Do you know the answer? I'm talking to my editor right over here. I'm actually curious. Is it 100, like what is it?
330,000 feet is considered space.
Okay, well, I was way off. We're going to go ahead and take back what I just said. Apparently 330,000 feet in the air is now in space. All right, we'll keep going. Hey, I just learned something new. If you guys didn't know, 330,000 foot is apparently you're in space. Russia is now accusing Ukraine, by the way, of cutting off all of water, which I know it sounds, I'm laughing when I say this. It's because it's really goofy. And the town is Severodonetsk. So here's my map over here. So this is the area they're talking about cutting off all the water. Now, the crazy thing about this is they're saying that Ukraine did it. The real truth is Russian shelling has actually completely destroyed the city's main water pipes. So don't really know where they're going with this one, but I thought I would tell you guys. U.S. intelligence and defense officials now believe that after delivery of an unannounced number of T-72 main battle tanks from multiple European countries, that Ukrainian military now has more operable and operating T-72s in Ukraine than Russia does. Yes, that was a mouthful. But just to reiterate, Ukraine has more T-72s inside of Ukraine that are working than Russia does now. All right. So earlier today, two different fire broke out. Two different ones. Two separate ones. In two Russian facilities, within Russia. I know this sounds like a conspiracy theory. But anyway, I'm going to show you both videos of it too. So a Russian aerospace defense research facility in the city of the same one we just showed you a second ago, TVER, the same one, that same place, caught on fire, killing at least 2 people and injuring 30 others. Here's a video of that.
I bet you he's going to have the same theory we do.
So that same research facility, the one you guys saw a second ago, is the place where the Iskander and the S-400 missile systems were designed. And then 4 hours later, another chemical plant near Moscow caught fire, and it's Russia's largest manufacturers of chemical solvents. So, yes, I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably, I'm not going to say an inside job or somebody really pissed, or maybe they know something. I don't really know. But I'm not going to chalk that one up as being, like, coincidental. So, anyway, the United States is now sending an additional $1.3 billion to Ukraine in additional military and economic support. That should help us here a little bit when it comes to our debt and everything else here in America, but it's for a good cause. $800 million of it will be a part of the security package, and $500 million of it will be in direct economic assistance with Ukraine or to Ukraine.
I think we're up to like $3.6 billion now. Total U.S. aid to... That's 800 and another 800. President Biden announced today that an additional $800 million to security assistance in Ukraine, bringing the U.S. security assistance committed to Ukraine to one. That was on March 16th. Hold on, that's old news now. That's old now. I wonder if it includes the whole amount. I want to say it's like 3.2 billion. There. Adding to this week's package brings total U.S. military aid to Ukraine since Russia invaded to well over 3 billion. So 3.2 sounds like a accurate number that I heard then. So over 3 billion total to Ukraine from the United States.
The latest security package actually will include 72 more howitzers, 144,000 artillery rounds, 72 tactical vehicles to actually tow the howitzers, and then an additional 121 Phoenix Ghost tactical drones. There's actually not a lot out there about these things. So these drones, these Phoenix drones, were actually developed by the United States Air Force for Ukraine. They were asking for a very specific thing, and they got it. So that's that. So here's the very last piece of news before we move on. This satellite imagery you guys are currently seeing, I'm going to keep it up for a second, is a 985-foot-long mass grave that's been found near the village of Mariupol. The trench appears to be another mass burial site that's been dug sometime between March 23rd and March 29th, according to satellite imagery that's been pulled. So, sometimes you can't see certain areas. Like, I do a lot of research when it comes to fishing. You got to look at lake levels and stuff like that. So a lot of times you guys are going to see satellite imagery is not able to see a certain area because of cloud cover and so on and so forth. That's why there's kind of like a gray area between March 23rd and 29th. It was dug between sometime in there. So, all right, we're going to go over here to the old handy-dandy map side. So we got a bit of stuff going on. The Russians were actually able to conquer this sign. So this sign I'm about to show you guys, which I'll show you guys here in the video, and I'll pull it up. It's been geolocated back to an area. I guess they needed to make some type of propaganda or something to send back home to mom. Anyway, you know what? It's been geolocated. I know the exact area it is. So here's that video.
За моей спиной стояла Харьковской области. Вот там уже Луганская область. Прямая дорога открыта.
So the area where you guys saw the video is actually right here. All right. So you guys see this little dotted line. So the signs they're talking about is like the equivalent is being between like Louisiana and Texas. It's essentially it's a state line, it's a political line, and they're just taking a photo in front of it and like seeming like they've actually conquered something. When in fact, if you guys look,
what's gonna be so dumb is when history books, when we're old, and that Z is gonna be like, and like all of us that have been watching this war since day one are gonna know what that Z really is, but like that is just gonna be a symbol that's gonna be. It's gonna be in history books like the Nazi symbol was in the future. Whenever they release history books about this time period of life, just sucks. And Russia has a hand in this too, though. They know for sure. They're doing it for sure.
So the area where you guys saw the video is actually right here. All right. So you guys see this little dotted line. So the signs they're talking about is like the equivalent is being between like Louisiana and Texas. It's essentially it's a state line, it's a political line, and they're just taking a photo in front of it and like seeming like they've actually conquered something. When in fact, if you guys look at these people are miles upon miles upon miles away from even being relatively close to any type of battle. So there's that. So way to go, Russia. You conquered a sign. I'm about to show you guys some visual proof, by the way, that the town of Rubizan is getting closer and closer to falling into Russian control. Rubizan right here. This is one of the areas that's been controlled. The northern side has been controlled by Russia, and the southern side has been controlled by Ukrainians. This video is actually coming from the edge of the town where you'll see a Russian flag and a Chechenian flag being raised over the sign. And it says, it's the same sign that says, welcome to the town, pretty much like welcome to Rubizan. So here is that. It's been noted that Russian forces are slowly moving through Popsana. So Popsana is down over here. This is one of the areas. When I mean slowly, they literally just captured a police station there and a residential block. So it's very slow. I'm going to assume they're going to be taking heavy casualties, maybe not KA, but just casualties in general, wounded and such inside this area just because it is that heavy of fighting. And Russian soldiers dressed in Ukrainian uniforms also tried to seize a village. It was unsuccessful. And the town is over here, just north of Sloviansk. Actually, it's right here, Doveniki. So this area right here was the one they tried to get through, but apparently did not pan out. I don't know what they were trying to do. So there is that. All right, so as we slide down here, this entire area right here is being heavily shelled and has been over the since pretty much the beginning of this conflict. But right now, it's been pretty heavy. Just going to throw that one out there. In the town of Vika, as you guys see right here. So the Russians have been trying to push through this line for pretty much, I guess, the last week or so. Heavy fighting is going on right here. All right, at the same time, heavy shelling has actually been reported in the town of Marinka, which is the same place that the Russians were pushed back. I believe it was 2 days ago, where they controlled 25% of Marinka, and they got pushed back on a counteroffensive by the Ukrainian forces, which I still have annotated on here, and it's right there. So heavy shelling inside of those areas, and Russian forces have actually went on the offensive in an area down here in the south, which is just west of here. So it's right here. So they moved out of the town of Starolovinka. Right there, man. There needs to be a drinking game. I see in the comments every single time I try to pronounce one of these things, you guys need to take a shot. But they've
spark one up every time I mess one up.
Moved west. All right, so they have moved west, and they've actually advanced on
Nightbot, right on time. Thank you.
Western flank to the town of Temiravika. I'm sorry. It is what it is. They've captured a few small settlements within this area, which I've annotated right here. This is pretty much the area they have actually moved. This is the first actual thing we've seen inside this area of Russian forces trying to push north out of here. And I say this is kind of a big deal because I know that some of the men out of Mariupol are going to be moving north and are doing it currently as I'm making this video, which we're about to talk about here in a second. So there was a humanitarian corridor from Mariupol that was supposed to be opening at 2 p.m., but the Russians aren't letting anybody inside. There's a string of buses that have been on the outside that are picking up these civilians that are currently trapped inside the city. Here's the video of the buses stuck, waiting it through to extract some of the civilians. So here's
man, to be terrified to be a bus driver for one of those buses.
Down in Mariupol, I actually saw something where Zelensky, I'll wait a second. I'll talk about it here in the very end, which is, I think it's kind of crazy. But I didn't speak about this yesterday because there was no proof of it, and essentially was just hearsay. If I can confirm it, I don't really want to talk about it. But anyway, there were claims that Russia had dropped a very large aerial bomb on a hospital in Mariupol, and that 300 people were trapped under the rubble. I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't really know. I didn't really know what to believe on that. It could have just been propaganda. Anyway, The reason why now I'm saying it is confirmed because now Russia has acknowledged the hospital in Mariupol has been hit by explosions, but is blaming the Azovs for the attack. Now, the crazy thing about this is the only problem to this claim is the fact that neither Azovs or the Ukrainian forces are in the city, even have that sort of heavy artillery for some time now. They haven't been able to. 26 people have been said to killed on this horrific giant thing. I don't know why they're dropping stuff like that. Maybe it was just a misguided or a guided bomb from one of the big one from one of their long range bombers that kind of went bad. I don't really exactly know. But this video that I'm about to show you guys has actually been geolocated back to a small warehouse on the edge of an auxiliary complex, which is located here. And I'll show you guys the video and I'll show you the exact location here in a second. So this is the exact location. I'll let this thing load real quick so you guys can see. So we're down over here. This is the exact area. So if we're going to just kind of keep note of this if you guys can. This is the last held area right now for this Mariupol area. Now it's up here in this top right-hand corner. Just see this roadway that comes in here. All right, you guys watch this. That's where that's at. That's up here in this top area about right here. All right, just so you guys have an understanding of exactly where that was. So that thing's showing Russian forces securing more of this area than the last time we've seen this video. We talked about in a video yesterday. So the Chechen leader came out. He's going to say all this stuff. It's kind of funny. He kind of contradicted what Putin has actually came out and said. But he says that by today or after lunch or before lunch, which to me makes...
All right, before we continue, hold on. All right. We need to correct this in the chat now, and mods too. A troll is not someone that disagrees with you or just comes out of the gate hot, like with a hot take, okay? That's not a troll. A troll would be like the porn bots that you see, or when we had literal troll raids, which were early on in the war coverage, that had numbers, like it was like username and then a bunch of numbers. Those are trolls, okay? Try to have as many conversations as you can without getting it like too hot in the chat, but try to build bridges. Like the more that you just block people and just label them a troll because they disagree with you, all you're going to do is send them back into their dichotomy they came from, and then they're just going to reinforce their biases by saying, oh well, they are exactly what we thought, or that opinion is exactly what I thought it was, and I'm right now because you block them out. So not everybody is a troll, okay? Not everything that disagrees with you is a troll. And I just need to reiterate that fact now at this point, okay? Just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't make them a troll. If they're intentionally like harassing people in the chat, then yeah. But if it's just somebody that comes off and maybe they just need to spend a little time in the stream, or maybe they come from the ignorance of the propaganda that the Kremlin or Russia or a different source is spewing, and then they get to spend some time in our stream, but then they're just shouted away as if they're a troll, then they don't actually get time to like sit with us for a while and then have their thinking challenged, all right? Or the way that their brain works. They don't have anybody challenging it. They're just going to get sent back to where they came from. So I really want you guys to work on not just labeling somebody a troll that disagrees with you, and then really try to not fuel it if you can. Like try to, I don't know. But not everybody's a troll that disagrees with you. All right, let's get back.
Makes absolutely no sense. He says before or after lunch. That's literally any time of the day. Like any time today, before or after lunch. Okay, appreciate it. We call them the TikTokers of the world. That's pretty much what they are. We've seen a lot of their videos, the Chechens. Pretty much just them. They take their AK, they shoot it over their head, or they do something crazy. Like they just do it for views. It is what it is. Anyway, they say that the armed forces of the Russian Federation is ready, the strategy is ready, and the warriors are ready. And all they need to do is they just need a little bit more time. That's it. They just need time. But they've had 50 plus days apparently to do this, and it wasn't enough time. I think this guy may have got his words mixed up with old Putin there, because Putin definitely is not on the same page as the Chechens. That's very strange. So I spoke about this yesterday. I believe that Putin was going to let his bombers do all the work down in Mariupol. The Chechen fighters, I don't even know if they know what an airplane is, but essentially these bombers are going to come in and they're probably just going to do the heavy work for the Russians. And that's exactly what is going on. Putin has came out and he said that he's not going to risk any more lives of his men to clear this area, but he's basically just going to cordon off the area and not let anybody in or out. That's pretty much what it is. Putin is actually ordered to cancel the assault on the plant after several failed attempts and is hailing the liberation of Mariupol now. He told the defense minister to actually block off the entire plant where the last Ukrainian troops were actually held up so that a fly can't get in. So here is actually a clip of that.
Jared says, great point. Yes, of course. Yeah. No, we just got to get that point across now. Because I get it. We had literal trolls, like, when the war started. Like, they were coming into our chat bad, and it was rough. But at this point now, I haven't seen that. We do have the porn bots, for sure. And, like, that's a great example of, like, a troll bot. But beyond that, try to do the best you can if you just feel like you can't get your point across without raging you're starting to type fast and then you're starting to not necessarily listen to the content that's being shared and you're just kind of like going back and forth with the one person in the chat that's like disagreeing with you. You probably need to just dial back a bit, or like, even telling you to block that person might be too much now at this point, because then you're not going to get to interact with someone that disagrees with you. And then even though you're in our chat, you're like shrinking your own dichotomy down as well. So try to do better about interacting with others that disagree with you as best you can. I understand that sometimes there's just a point, and then it's like, okay, but do the best you can. Thank you, Cool Roy and Laura. Look at the way Putin's gripping the hell out of this desk here to prevent his hand from shaking.
And by the way, that clip you just watched, a lot of people are actually saying that he looks pretty sick because he's sitting straight up and he's not moving his back and he's gripping the table real hard. I guess that could be. I mean, I personally thought that when this entire conflict started that maybe he might actually be on his deathbed or something. I don't know. Like, why would a world leader want to do anything like this? But anyway, here's the video of what the liberation of Mariupol actually looked like. Apparently, the Chechen leader has now vowed that the remaining people inside the steel factory will die within its walls. So I guess he's kind of flip-flopping himself. But here's that video for you guys.
We saw this.
It also looks like Russia will be downsizing its military presence, like I told you guys, down in Mariupol. They're going to be going down to a bare minimum effort, and to push these additional troops are going to be taking them actually more north. It's going to be roughly about 12 BTGs worth of men moved to Avika and Popsana. So if you take both of those areas, we can look here on the map. So they're going to be moving down from Mariupol. Of course, they're going to be going north. That would only make a little bit of sense. They're going to go to Avika, which is actually one of the areas that I have circled already. So this is one of the areas I'm talking about. So this is also, we see these big squares with the X's in them. These were areas where there's a large amount of Russian troops built up. So they're going to be coming through there. And I believe this is one of the reasons why, is they need to get through. So Provask, I just look at words sometimes and I think that Ukrainians just smash the keyboard on the ground. Because as English, poke? Pokrovsk. Anyway, that town right there, I have it. I believe.
Which one? Pokrovsk.
Believe it to be an actual strategic, like a very strategic point where either side needs to maintain. Mainly, you guys look at the city. You guys see all of the routes leading in and out of it. Okay, extremely crucial, and I believe that's one of the areas why they want to push through and take this area to actually push through and take Sloviansk. I do believe Popsana is the other area because they want to choke out this whole area. So this is what I've said this before. I believe they want to isolate Severe Nadezhd, this whole area right here. Do the same thing they did down in Mariupol. I see that being a thing. So we'll see what they do with these 12 new BTGs worth of men that are going to be moving north. Other than that, I do love you guys. Thanks for hanging out.
I don't think they have so much ground to get through. I don't think the Russian military is going to have any success. Here's just a compilation from the combat footage of the day. That's all put into one video. Military situation as of 21 April 2022, according to Wiki. Plus some video clips. Ukraine combat. There used to be a channel that covered the day's combat clips too, and it got taken down. What's this first one here? A T-72 is hit with a Ukrainian Stugna P missile at an estimated distance of 4.5 kilometers. I'm going to have to be editing the volume here frequently. You can see it. You can see it heading there. You have to follow the. You have to follow the target with the sight till it hits. Wow, that traveled a distance. How far was that before we get into that clip one more time? This is Stugna P, right? A T-72 hit with Ukrainian Stugna P. 4.5 kilometers that thing traveled. And you have to follow the vehicle with the targeting on that Stugna. Russian helicopter shot down near Zaporizhia. Saw this clip when we started the stream. Missile hits a helicopter. Russian tank drives on a mine in Mariupol. God dang, got it. Oh my goodness. Good night. Hold on. God dang, good night. That thing took a Russian tank, drives on it. So it's shooting and driving. Oh man, tank destroyed. Tank destroyed there. Thank you, Richard. Surprised RT posted this. This is an RT video. This is a Russian video. I'm surprised they would show their tank getting blown up like that. God, dude. Jeez, this is a Ukrainian mine on a Russian tank. Russian tank drives on a mine in Mariupol. Mariupol. Goodness. They got out of their propaganda zone. They have to retreat back to the propaganda neighborhood. Was there a second tank or what was that? Oh, went too far. Good night, dude. Yeah, we'll check John. We'll check John, Cheryl. Oh. So it didn't actually destroy the tank then. The tank guy was able to back up. It wasn't tank destroyed. It looks like it. It looks like the tank got destroyed there by the amount of explosion, but it didn't. It backs up in the video. That didn't do anything. That didn't take it out. Watch. Here's the video from the tank camera. That was the mine that just blew up. Unless it's like reversed video. I don't think so though. Because all the destruction is around it now. So it backed up out of that. It backed up after that. Probably blew the track off of it. Probably disabled it, but it didn't just completely destroy it. All right, let's continue on. All right, Ukrainian forces downed 2 Russian Mi-8 helicopters with man pads. Kharkiv Oblast. We have people in the chat say they get uncomfortable when they see the word man pads. Saw that. MLRS BM-21 Grad fires at a building in Azovstal. One of the rockets hit an industrial pipe. They were firing those multiple launch rocket systems straight at the buildings. 3 separate clips of Stugna P ATGM hitting Russian vehicles in the Donetsk region. There's another Stugna P video.
Есть. Все, побігли? Да. Радійку. Біжи без неї.
Ukrainian drones dropping projectiles on Russian vehicles. Again, this is war footage from, or the combat footage of the day footage released from day 57. How do they get the Russian footage? RT puts it out there, or Russians media. Yo, what up, Duke? It's the other way around there, Mark. Russia's military is being crushed by Ukraine. It's the other way around. Russia was able to take unguarded cities in the south. Then when they actually went up against Ukraine's reinforced cities, especially their capital, that was a massive failure. Thanks for responding. Love your content. Thank you, Twinsky1. Ukrainian Special Operation Forces blew up a bridge. Targets inside the tree line. Look at, like, the Z, like it, nothing like having a drone and then just look at, oh look, we see the giant white Z in the tree line. Found it. It's like they're painting it on the top of the vehicles. Oh damn, spotted while taking a deuce. That's tough. And they got attacked during that. That's bad times. Because Ukraine didn't have a giant military, and they don't. They have they literally have a territorial defense force of their civilians that took arms, and then they have a international legion to help their military. Footage of 54th Mechanized Brigade striking Russian columns in the Donetsk Oblast. So another Russian column getting absolutely destroyed. So basically, Russian militaries only had success with bombing civilian targets, like apartments and houses. Or if you want to, like, that's the only success Russia is claiming at all, because they haven't had any major military victories. They haven't had any. They didn't even fully eradicate Mariupol because the steel factory still has all the Ukrainian soldiers in it. Some of these have the cope cages on the top. You guys will notice on these tanks. From task and purpose so they can put those things on there to cope with the amounts of failure that their military goes through on a daily basis. There's a cope cage on this tank. A few more cope cages. There's one. Of their added defense, their added armor to their vehicles that they think is effective. Cope cage commandos. There's another cope cage on this one. Thank you, Nora. No audio here. Yeah, they got the belt still on there. Ukrainian soldiers using an anti-aircraft gun.
Еще левее, выше стволы. Вот так вот. Еще правее. Правее, 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 правее. Все, огонь. Давай, давай, давай. Ебать, ебать. Да ебать, нормально. Давай, давай. Давай. Быстрее. Быстрее. Блядь, не пустой нихуя. Он не пустой. Хорошо, все, плохо, давай, давай. Что делать? Садись, блядь. Так что делать тут? Садись. Ёбу давай.
Russian strike on a Ukrainian tank. Hit that like button if you guys haven't. We got over 1,300 tuned in. Welcome to Mercado Media. Coverage of the war in Ukraine and other happenings around the world. Anything in the United States nationally, I try to get out to myself and cover myself in person. DPR allegedly firing on Ukrainian positions in Donbas. That's war coverage from the day. I also want to check out finally Andrew Callaghan, Channel 5's
Sir
coverage.
Richard Branson.
No, Channel 5's coverage in Ukraine.
How are you doing today?
We watched his coverage of the People's Convoy. I've seen him, like, we've locked eyes at many events and just like looked at each other and just never talked. I don't know, because I'm usually live and he's doing his editing, but it'd be cool to talk to him one time at one of these events. But in 2020, and he was in Brooklyn Center. I mean, he was in Minneapolis. This is Channel 5, Andrew Callaghan. He was there during the elections in DC, all that. So he's been around, does a great job. His content's great. This is a war in Ukraine. It's a little old. We haven't watched it yet, though, so let's see what it's about.
I'm fine. I'm not at home. I came from Kyiv. I really want to go home, but I think it won't be safe for my daughter, so we will stay somewhere here and just wait.
What do you miss most about home?
My ordinary life, just to drink some coffee in my favorite cafe and to bring my daughter to the kindergarten, just normal stuff. It will never be the same as it was. Every time the siren is here, I just tell her that it's fireworks. So we need to hide because she's like 5 years old, and I don't want for her to have a trauma.
Just fireworks.
Yeah, just fireworks, loud fireworks.
Yeah.
We never know in what time Russia will send missiles or rockets to our territory. Air attack could be launched on Lviv. So now we need to go to find the nearest shelter just to hide.
We're going to a shelter now in the press building. That was genuinely pretty fucking terrifying.
Each time it's really scary, especially at the night when you want to try to chill and sleep.
It is a special time for me, for my city, for my country. Last month, 3 times Russia aggressor attack city Lviv.
Officials in the western Ukrainian city of Lviv say Russian missile strikes hit a fuel storage facility on the outskirts of the city.
Oh man, this was too before, what was it, on Monday when there was like 8 strikes in Lviv? Just what was it there? Iskander? I get the missiles mixed up now, but there was like 6 to 8 strikes right in like the heart of Lviv, and cell phone camera, and we watched clips of it, and it was pretty just like surreal.
See dark plumes of smoke rising.
So this was taken before that even happened in Lviv.
The sky. For me,
really quick on the map, you guys, so you know the geography of where he is right now. This is in Lviv, far western city, which we found, even though like it's been kind of thought to be safe. This week alone, we've learned that it's nowhere in Ukraine is completely safe. They have safeguards, and it's safer than the east, but those strikes were very, very surreal this week in Lviv. Let's continue.
On the outskirts of the city,
we could see dark plumes of smoke rising into the sky.
For me, Putin equal Hitler, a Russian aggressor, attack Ukrainian cities every day.
Global outrage grew today as more horrific revelations surfaced from Bucha, Ukraine.
I want to warn you that the images we are about to show you, and even the descriptions of them, are graphic, disturbing, but they are the devastating reality of Putin's war on the people of Ukraine. The town's mayor saying at least 20 innocent civilians were shot in the back of the head, and that several hundred civilians are buried in the once peaceful commuter town's mass grave.
Basically, a load of the Russian troops that are around, like Kiev, Oblast, the region on the front lines there, they've pulled back. For the first time, a lot of the Ukrainian troops have like properly moved in there to see like what's happened, and they're just finding like mass graves, over 400 probably civilians, old people, young people. They're finding loads of images of people with their hands tied behind their back, dead in the street. It's probably an execution, right? So it's looking like there was a massacre.
All world must isolate Russia. Next 50 years, Russia, it is Nazi country.
Headshot. Українці, розстрілюємо Путіна. Не сором промахнутися. Сором не стрельнути. Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Героям слава! Сюди, оцей. Супер. 20% цього прибутку йде на фонд «Повертайся живим». Так, якщо маєте можливість, можете на фонд «Повертайся живим» скинути любу, бо тут нема прайсу. Можете опозоритись.
How did it feel to do that?
Трошки на душі стало легше. Я надію, кількість цих куль переросте в настоящі, і ми її побачимо в мавзолеї або десь закопаною під бетоном. На даний момент ми займаємося гуманітарною допомогою. Якщо мене армія призве, звичайно, я готовий. Ми гуманітарно допомагаємо, там фонд часів «Повернись живим», також перераховуємо кошти.
I guess for a lot of people they can't be on the front or whatever, but this is their way of donating, this is their way of helping. Everyone is doing something. It's really interesting to see. It's like a community effort, across the whole country.
So it was my place where I usually walked after Russia invaded in Ukraine. This place closed for climbing, but it opened for taking refugees here. We are still helping them each day. Ще хочеш? Do you want some question for him?
Yeah, sure. What's your name?
Як тебе звати?
Київ.
Do you like to climb?
Покуси, потом уехай и сюда приехай.
What's your favorite animal?
Mason.
Mason? So you have a cat called Mason.
Is that Mason? Mason? Mason?
Yo, did you see the way they just like threw the cat? You want Mason?
Is that Mason?
Yeah, Mason's arrived. Mason ain't fucking with it.
Mason?
Mason's like, I'm getting the hell out of here.
All right, Mason's a little bit camera shy. What do you want to be when you grow up?
А потом полицейским. Я хотел маме купить машину, когда вырасту.
He want to buy a car for his mother and to himself.
Взрыв будет, и я буду сам ехать.
Меня зовут Ольга, мы приехали из города Бахмут, Донецкой области. Мы с вечера собрались и уже до крайней точки Львов. Остаться в ближайшее время, дальше посмотрим, будет видно как.
Would you prefer to return home or would you like to immigrate into a different country?
Хотелось бы вернуться домой. Естественно, мы скучаем по дому, как развернутся все эти события, и будет ли дома, будет ли куда возвращаться, и если действительно будут какие-то сложные ситуации в плане возврата домой. Какое-то время было спокойно в городе, потом какой-то день в центр города прилетело сразу несколько ракет. Мне стало страшно за ребенка, за себя, семью, и мы приняли решение выехать.
How do you explain what's going on to your son?
Когда это было далеко от нас, и комендантский час, и так далее, он видел в городе военных. Было далеко от нас, и комендантский час, и так далее. Он видел в городе военных и военную технику. Он задавал вопросы, почему они здесь. Не внедрялась в подробности, не вникала.
Do you like staying here?
Мне тут нравится, я тут только на канате таком, на мате.
Good in this situation.
Well, I'm glad you were able to bring Mason with you.
Обязательно в любом случае мы бы не оставили его дома без присмотра. Он полноценный член нашей семьи.
Out of the more than 4 million people who fled Ukraine, over 2.3 million are now in Poland.
14. Yeah, 14. I came off Kryvyi Rih, it's the center of Ukraine. My little brother and my aunt came to Peremyshel with me. And I very scared because my dad is in Kryvyi Rih. Yeah, it's scary situation, very scary situation.
What do you miss most about home?
My friends, my 4 best friends in Hungary, in Slovenia, in Ireland. And I haven't connected with them.
If you had to pick one friend that you wished you were with right now, which friend would it be?
I think like Dima. In my school, he sit back for me. He's quite funny and he's like he can smile me all of them. I want to hear his jokes of teachers and like I want to usual life.
Декілька днів тому приходило по 6 потягів, і можна легко порахувати, що кожний потяг вміщував по 3 тисячі осіб.
What do you think is the biggest challenge that refugees face whenever they get from Ukraine to Poland?
Така, що люди приїжджають в чужу державу і не можуть зорієнтуватися. Кожен боїться за своє життя, за своїх дітей. Дуже дивно те, що, наприклад, українці в Російській Федерації живе коло більше 5 мільйонів осіб всебічного освітлення цієї війни, і тому рахують, що російська армія робить правильно.
In Russia, Vladimir Putin's approval rating is soaring despite his disastrous invasion of Ukraine.
It's now above 80%.
Киев никто не бомбит, я этому не верю.
Путин такого не мог сделать. Напасть на Украину тем более.
Every day, Russian state television accuses the West of fake news over Ukraine.
Это Зеленский все делает. И американцы.
Я за Путина. Я хочу вам показать. Я за Путина. Я поняла. Даже не буду смотреть фотографии.
One of their claims is that the bodies in these
won't even look at it. They'd rather just stay ignorant.
Photos lying on the ground. These apparently dead.
Stay ignorant. They won't even wanted to show them photos, and they're like, "Nah, I don't even want to see the photos. I support Putin." Just.
Я поняла. Даже не буду смотреть фотографии.
Won't even look at them. Nope.
One of their claims is that the bodies in these photos lying on the ground, these apparently dead bodies, were placed there by Ukrainian radicals, as they're called, or Nazis.
So I think I've seen this before. What is this flyer right here?
So ATOB Azov battalion is neo-fascist battalion here in Ukraine. They've been going since the start of the revolution, so 2014.
The group was known to have ties to neo-Nazi movements, and its leader was even quoted once as saying Ukraine's purpose was to, quote, lead the white races of the world.
To Russian President Vladimir Putin, their far-right politics a justification to claim that Ukraine needs to be denazified.
Not to say that they're not there, they're fighting right now in Mariupol. They've been basically defending that city along with the Ukraine Marines. But they make out like that's everybody and everybody believes in it sort of thing. There's a real problem where people either just deny it exists or they emphasize on it too much. And really they don't have much influence politically. So,
Ooh, this guy's killing it. Based Ukrainian civilian. One more time.
Sort of thing. There's a real problem where people either just deny it exists.
One, that's a problem.
Or they emphasize on it too much.
Right there. 2 problems right there. The 2 truths. We've already gone through the history of the Azov battalion. There it is for you.
And really, they don't have much influence politically. So, when Russia was saying they're a Nazi junta, it's like, well, then they're the worst one that ever happened because Zelensky, who was a Jew, some of his family died in the Holocaust under the Nazis, he got 73% of the vote in a country of 44 million. I think what you have to do is look at Russia. So Russia has a much more serious Nazi problem. And there's a lot of evidence that they're connected to the FSB, Russian internal intelligence services. So they have a problem. Siren.
Yeah. Should we go to a shelter or something?
Yeah, we should probably go to a shelter, if we want to get a look at the other side of things that isn't reported as much, we could go and talk to the anarchists. They're doing aid. They're taking stuff all over Ukraine. They're not making a big noise about it, but they're doing it not just to anarchist groups, to any soldiers that need it, So that's another part of this thing.
Before the war, I worked as a tour guide in a history museum. 10-20 kilometers from Bucha, Irpin areas, I used to cycle in that areas a lot. It's fucked up. If Russians occupy it, they will kill off every politically active person, no matter of its political views. The side which really needs denazifying right now, in my opinion, is Russia.
Why are, Nazis fighting with leftists on the front lines?
If the fight is lost, there will be no one left. No right wing, left wing, it will be eradicated.
І, власне, у них достатньо ресурсів для того, щоб розповсюджувати цю фейкову інформацію на весь світ, і в тому числі є багато західних медіа, які прислуховуються до Росії.
The Kremlin views Tucker Carlson's commentary as, quote, essential in its wartime messaging strategy. That is according to a leaked 12-page memo from a Russian government agency to the Russian media.
What is this really about? Why do I hate Putin so much? Has Putin ever called me a racist? Did he manufacture a worldwide pandemic that wrecked my business and kept me indoors for 2 years? Is he trying to snuff out Christianity? Does he eat dogs? Is he making fentanyl? These are fair questions, and the answer to all of them is no. Vladimir Putin didn't do any of that.
Putin is doing the right thing. He's taken out...
I knew he was going to reference the People's Convoy. I knew he was going to.
The Syrian mafia.
It's not an invasion. They can easily fake a war.
Ну це просто весело, це типу як будь-які інші фейк-ньюс.
So what are the most important items that you need right now?
Helmets and bulletproof vests, certain kinds of medicine.
Потім речі, які дозволяють там не замерзнути, типу спальників, одягу, карематів і так далі. Теж те, що може знадобитися як цивільним, так і на фронті.
Well, I'm glad that other people are seeing the same thing we are, especially Channel 5 and bigger other giant platforms. And the connections between the Kremlin and certain factions of our country. Here's more from I've seen Russian propagandists contort themselves into pretzels, but this really takes the cake. Former military spy on state TV claimed that Americans are responsible for the genocide of Russians because they're arming Ukrainians in order to exterminate the Russian genotype. So here's more Russian state TV of what they're telling their people. We'll look at the subtitles will be at the bottom.
Эта прокси-война имеет главную цель ослабить Россию, в целом русский мир, потому что на войне гибнут в первую очередь главный русский генотип, который должен, по идее, дать потомство. И на сегодняшний день это тоже входит, наверное, в рамки геноцида, когда через войну пытаются привести к точке невозврата и невозможности возродиться нации за счет уничтожения самых здоровых, самых умных, самых продуктивных представителей нации.
Ну, то есть, иными словами, если мы исходим из того, что русские и украинцы один народ, то прямо сейчас этот народ вымирает.
Вот вы представляете, у вас на кухне живут тараканы. И вы сумели создать такие условия, что они начали убивать друг друга. А вы, соответственно, их подкармливаете ту сторону, которая проигрывает, для того, чтобы потери были как можно больше. Сами американцы строго заявляют, что мы воевать не собираемся. И они хотят добиться всех своих военно-политических целей вот этими действиями.
Wow. That's what their state media is putting out to their people. What do we got here? All right, let's refresh the list. Again, guys, go ahead, comment where you're tuning in from. Welcome. You guys are watching Mercado Media. I'm your host, Andrew Mercado. I'm an independent journalist, U.S. Army veteran. I served from 2012 to 2020. 4 years active duty, 4 years in the Army Reserve. Shout out to our awesome veteran community. I'm streaming. I'm from Minnesota. I started my streaming journey because I'm not sponsored or anything, so if this is your first stream here, welcome. I'm still just a guy with a YouTube channel in my apartment, so we're still doing great. We have an amazing member community. Thank you guys so much for supporting independent media. But go ahead and let me know where you guys are watching from. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Kentucky. How you doing? Texas. How you doing? Southwest Montana. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Seattle, Washington. Welcome, Seattle. Rainy Los Angeles, California. How you doing? Thank you so much. Watching from Rhode Island, Boston, Massachusetts, Dallas, Texas, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's go. Tuning in from the West Coast of the United States. Good to have you. New York. Love from Lufkin, Texas. Let's refresh. Oh, John Sweeney. Oh, and we do have more footage. Let's look at John's update. See if he has one. Yep, day 57. Here's his day 57 update. Putin's sex life. Okay.
57 of Vladimir Putin's war.
Orange hats in the chat. Orange hats in the chat. Become a member to be able to use our custom emojis if you're interested in that in our chat. YouTube's trying to keep up with Twitch.
Kyiv Diary, day 57 of Vladimir Putin's war. The electricity is still on, and I'm still wearing my lucky orange hat. So Vladimir Putin was talking to his defense minister Shoigu this morning and there's a clip of him saying, well, we've taken Mariupol and the special military operation, apart from the steel plant, where the Ukrainian army is still hanging out. So that they're the kind of what they're doing, I think, is they're preparing the Russian population for an exit from this stupid and brutal war, and they're kind of claiming victories which are absurd and nonsensical, and great big lies. There is, of course, a problem inside Putin's system in that there are no truth tellers left, because all of them have been poisoned and shot. That is the, if you like, the primary subject of my podcast series, Taking on Putin. The latest one is just out. It's called Russia's Greatest Love Machine, which is, of course, a line from Boney M's masterpiece, Ra 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 Rasputin, but it's also refers to Putin too as well. He's used sex and sex shaming and compromat to destroy his rivals in power, starting very early on with something that happened in '99.
We already learned that he doesn't wash the hat. He hasn't washed it. It's got elephant I don't even know what, snot on it. Elephant nose molecules all over it because an elephant picked it up off his head when they went to the zoo. So it hasn't been washed.
And the way Putin uses sex is dark and sinister. But if you investigate his own private life, then things may not go well for you. However, the podcast is recorded here in Kyiv. I made most of it in London, but the final stuff has been recorded here in Kyiv, and nobody here gives a damn. So, listen out for Taking on Putin. It's available on all the platforms.
Okay, he cut his video off. That's his podcast coming out. There's his diary. All right. Also, people had asked how you get to the fundraiser for humanitarian efforts. Number one, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Mercado Media. We're almost to 40,000, y'all. Can we get to 40,000 by summer? Hoping so. We're getting there. But head over. Just all you gotta do is go to popular uploads, which will be right below the current live, and then you'll see the ones that say fundraiser. You can click any notification. That's me. Click any of them, and then you'll see the fundraiser right there. All right. Well, let me scroll down a little bit. Right here. Click the donate button, and you could send Ukraine war relief. Please help the people of Ukraine. You can find them right there. Right now, the YouTube channel is at 16,287, but I know it's like well over $25,000 raised from our YouTube channel alone for Ukraine humanitarian efforts. So shout out to our YouTube channel for continuing on. Just go to the main page and go to popular uploads, and you'll see the word fundraiser underneath those videos, and it's still there. All right, it'll be there forever. Well, unless the videos ever get taken down, but they better not. Latest defense intelligence update on the situation in Ukraine from 22 April 2022. Putin's decision to blockade the Azovstal steel plant likely indicates a desire to contain Ukrainian resistance in Mariupol and free up Russian forces to be deployed elsewhere in eastern Ukraine. A full-ground assault by Russia on the plant would likely incur significant Russian casualties, further decreasing their overall combat effectiveness. Christine, welcome to the channel. So again, Russia's new strategy here for the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol is to just blockade it, so that way there's no getting out or no getting in. Thank you, Fallon. They're just gonna try to starve out all the civilians and the remaining military units in this steel plant. That is the new strategy. And they're going to refocus their military efforts now that they've seized all of Mariupol except for the steel plant. So they're going to leave contingents back to blockade them in, right? They'll likely have their navy out here. Well, they already have their navy out here, so that they're not going to be able to leave by sea. But they're going to be blockading this steel factory in, and then not try to go in and flush them out. They're just going to starve them out. And then the rest of their units are going to go rejoin. The rest of the units are going to go to the east in the Donbas for the push that's coming, that they're building up for. In the eastern Donbas, heavy shelling and fighting continues as Russia seeks to advance further towards settlements including the Krasny Liman, Buhayivka, Ikfa, Barvin, Cove, Lyman, and Popasna as part of their plans for the region. Let's look up where that is. That's in that little pocket in the Donbas that hasn't... Let me see. There's Popasna. What other city? Barvin Cove. Let's look up where that is. Barvin Cove. Kind of to the west of Sloviansk. So in this region, here it is on our war map. To the east. Despite Russia's renewed focus, they are still suffering from losses sustained earlier in the conflict. In order to try and reconstitute their depleted forces, they have resorted to transitioning inoperable equipment back to Russia for repair. They're sending equipment back to Russia for repair. If you had any belief that this war was going to be over soon, I hope that you're seeing that we're going to be doing this for a while still, unfortunately. Here's a Russian Ka-52 and a Mi-28N helicopter conducting airstrikes in Lugansk Oblast. That's the Ka-52 Alligator right there. And that's the Mi-28. Yeah, that's the Mi-28 right there. Let's continue on. Here's low-flying Su-25 attack aircraft, likely from the same area. Oops, that's pretty loud.
Ох и шумные вы, ребятушки. Шумные вы, ребятушки.
All right. As a result of the fire in the Research Institute of the Russian Aerospace Defense Forces in Tver, 27 people were injured and 6 died. This was reported by the emergency services. A case for violation of fire safety requirements has been initiated. This was in Russia. Make sure you guys also join our Discord server. Another thing too, follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram too, you guys. for more one-on-one Q&A style live streams that I do for my account, follow me here, the Guru Merc. Just the same exact username as you can find on Twitter and Snapchat, all that. I have the same username. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, same one. You can't miss it. Follow me on Instagram. I post lots on there. And then it's personal live streams. Let's continue on. We didn't go through all of Rob Lee's footage yet. He had some new videos he posted when we were... Here's a low-flying Russian Mi-25 helicopter in the Donbas. Video was posted 2 days ago. Mi-28. Saw that video. Seen those. Let's keep scrolling. Captured Russian Orlan 10 UAV. Seen that. Video from Azov's and Dnipro forces showing a UAV adjusting artillery fire on Russian positions. This is going to be the one where the guy was out using the bathroom. No, I don't do no OnlyFans, no. There's the Z in the tree line. This guy got caught using the bathroom. That's tough. Yep, this is the video. Near Dnipro. Russia's video from Azov's Dnipro forces. So they have troops up here too. That's up here. Dnipro's in this region. A tank turret landed in a building. We saw that. Video reportedly showing Russian TOS-1A thermal barrack MLRS strikes on Ukrainian positions near Zelenaya Dolina. Only hands. So this is that thermal barrack truck. Those rockets that have incendiary capabilities. They're not, it's not white phosphorus. It's not white phosphorus. Keep going. Russian Orlan 10 UAV video. We saw that. This is video of a BTR-82A firing on Ukrainian positions in Mariupol while Russian troops enter a building with a ladder. I haven't seen this. Yeah, you hear cinematic music. This is an RT video. This is a Russian video. That was a BTR-82A firing on Ukrainian positions in Mariupol while Russia troops enter a building on a ladder. Do we got here? Video from a few days ago of a T-72. Oh, we saw that. Yeah, there's the crew was reportedly not wounded. We watched that. The tank hits a landmine. UAV footage showing artillery strikes reportedly on a Russian MSTA-B howitzer position near Izium. Here's Izium on the map. Right here. Here's the city of Izium. Zoom out some. Here's Kharkiv. Here's Donbas, Lugansk, Donetsk, all the cities in there. Izium. You can get me dizzy. Trying to see what that is. Saw that at the beginning of the stream. Direct fire MLRS. Video of DNR Spetsnaz fighting around Azovstal plant Mariupol, including with the RPG-7 and the TBG-7V thermal barrack round.
Сейчас идет продвижение групп, расширение флангов и самое главное прикрытие основной передовой группы, которая зачищает, освобождает этот сектор завода.
Is the camera guy okay? No, don't worry. Just sit right behind the guy shooting the RPG. Right behind it. Perfect spot.
Это самая лучшая работа, которую я мечтал. невозможно взять ребята из спецназа МВД, из других и выполнять свою главную боевую задачу.
All right, more fake Russian videos. All right, we've gone through damn near all of them again. Gone through all of them. Yeah, well, follow us on Twitter. All right, Mercado Media on Twitter. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel. You guys are watching on YouTube right now. Like everyone, follow me on Instagram, of course. Same username. Go to YouTube and subscribe. I'm going to be making a gaming channel here. All right, we're making a gaming channel. Stream some video games to YouTube. I have a gaming page on Facebook, but I'm going to be making a gaming YouTube channel. Be streaming all types of stuff, including Elden Ring. Got to get going on Elden Ring. Just got it. Apparently it's fire. But all right, y'all. Thank you again so much for choosing Mercado Media. I'm your host, Andrew Mercado. Thank you again. This has been the war in Ukraine, covering that, trying to source the most relevant and accurate information and provide a day-to-day update the best I can. You know, it's not as good as if I was there on the ground receiving firsthand information, but these are sources and things we've been using since day one, since the beginning of the invasion, so they're very trustworthy sources. And again, thank you guys for choosing independent media. You could be watching any other source, but you guys are choosing Mercado Media. Have a wonderful night, you guys. I'll be live tomorrow morning on Facebook. The morning streams are going to be Facebook, by the way. I just decided that while this stream was going. So Friday morning and Monday morning, we have 2 streams for the war coverage, and those 2 are going to be on Facebook. We have nearly 100,000 followers on Facebook page, and I made these nightly streams for YouTube only. But there's 2 morning streams because I'm not live tomorrow night, chat. Friday night's my night off. Friday night and Sunday night are my 2 days, or my 2 nights a week off. I'll be live again Saturday night. All right, so tune in on Facebook tomorrow morning if you're interested. If not, I'll see you guys Saturday night. Like the video if you haven't. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for tuning in. Take care.